The Premiership Cup is in the building. The West Torrens Eagles have one hand on it, up 1-0 in the best-of-3 series of the Hilltop Office Supplies State League Championship Series last night. An exciting game. It went down to the wire. Eagles pulled away late to win it 6-2. Rams, who won the minor premiership, looking to respond. Eric Ballnar on the call, joined by Division I state or women's state coach and Division I coach of the Kensington Cardinals, Austin Gallagher. Gally, game 2, all on the line for Henley. There's no tomorrow for them.
Yeah, you're right, and no better person to have on the mound for them other than Jordy Gross. I mean, he's been the backbone of this pitching staff, and he's the right guy on there. And for them, I think they're looking to put up some numbers offensively and get some good momentum going into tomorrow.
For West Torrens, they won the premiership last year, and very symptomatic of how they've been playing all season, especially in the back half, where they're 20-2 since they were 5-6-2 at some point in January. But it was a team effort, contributions 1 to 9 in the lineup, and that's what makes West Torrens hard to play against.
You're exactly right. There's no easy out in that lineup, and it's the little things that they do, such as last night having both McGarry's down on base, and then you have Bones coming up, putting down on the drag bunt, and then they hit a sac fly to center to put up another insurance run, and that's the type of offense that they are. They can beat you in a lot of different ways, and they don't make too many mistakes.
6-2 winners last night. The Rams are taking the field from Henley&Grange, a tremendous season where they raced out to a 21-1 record, and then everybody knew they were winning the minor premiership, and the rest of the year was about preparing for this moment, and their backs are against the wall. Left field, Luke Travascus. Center field, Jack Partington. Right field, Phil Acosta. On the infield, third base, Liam Bull. Shortstop, Koki Yanazawa. Second base, Giovanni Garbella. First base, Landon Hernandez. Griffin Weber is catching, and Jordy Gross is on the mound. You can see him warm up on screen. What does a successful start in general for Jordy Gross look like?
For Jordy, I mean, it's all about getting ahead and staying ahead, and he had a lot of Super League outings, even in the SABL. His success is getting guys out in 3 pitches or less, and when he's on, he's getting ahead, he's mixing his changeup and his cutter, and he's keeping guys off balance. And for Henley to have success, he's got to go deep in the ball game, and that'll save their relievers for tomorrow's game. And offensively, Henley's just got to score early, and that's something they need to do to get up ahead, and hopefully Jordy can feed off of that momentum.
Is there any thought about tomorrow at all for either of these teams, or are both of them just thinking, hey, let's try to win today?
Most importantly, you got to think about it one game, and in a final series, it's one inning at a time. You just got to win those innings and don't look too far ahead, because that can affect your mental outcome. So as long as you approach it one inning at a time and really concentrate on trying to win each inning, that's what's going to be the key to success for these guys.
Batting lineup for the Eagles, leading things off is Nick George. Jacob Scott will follow him at 2. 3 and 4, that's the McGarry brothers, Tom and then Sam. Tyrone Hambley sitting at 5. Nico Vanderlinden batting 6, followed by Mitch Neuenborn, hit a home run last night at 7. Nate Vanderlinden at 8, and then Jasper Clark at 9. Every player in this lineup had a contribution last night. Even players like Nico Vanderlinden went 0 for 4, but he had a sac fly and drove in a very crucial run late in the game. Not, as you said at the beginning, Gally, there's not really many holes in this lineup. Someone will produce on any given day.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And they're tough outs, and they're not quick outs either. They always take pitches, they foul balls off. They're scrappy hitters, and that's the biggest thing, is that offensively, West Torrens wears down a pitch count, and Jordy Gross gets ahead, and he usually can minimize that pitch count. So that's what we're looking forward today, is this matchup between Jordy and the West Torrens offense.
So what's going to break is really the question, because both things probably can't coexist.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So we'll see how it goes, but Jordy's going to need a big first inning here to kind of set the tone for the day.
Nick George steps into the batter's box. He's an aggressive player, and it showed that last night. The very first pitch of the game, he turned on, cranked a double down the line, and then later scored. He's not afraid to take an opportunity on the bases or in the batter's box when he sees one.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And he's usually the guy that takes about 99% of the first pitches he gets. So that's kind of a setup. Maybe that was a planned thing, but we'll see what he does today.
Jordy Gross, ball in hand. It's a must-win game for the Rams. He delivers the pitch, and a first pitch swing from Nick George. We are underway at Bennett Field on beautiful Ghana land in Game 2 of the Hilltop Office Supplies State League. In blue and gold are the West Torrens Eagles, and in that maroon and gold, you could say, is the colors of the Henley&Grange. What's their color scheme, Callie?
That's it. Maroon and yellow, maroon and gold.
Pitch on the outside for the Henley&Grange Rams. They're looking to win their first premiership since 2000. They have, or since 1997 rather. They haven't been in a premiership since 2000. This one goes on the outside. Game one, so important. We had Robert Laidlaw do some stats for us overnight, Gally, as that pitch is taken. We'll get to that in a second about the value of game one in a best-of-3 series in the championship here. Everyone knows you want to win game one. Get yourself set up for the rest of the series. Ooh, and Nick George is hit, and he goes on to first base. But since 1997, when the league changed to a best-of-3 series, the first few years it was kind of give and take. There was a lot of 3-game series, but only one team since 2004 has gone on to win a championship series after losing game one, which means it's almost as automatic as it gets. You win game one, you go on. Goodwood in 2018 lost game one, went on to win it, and the team before that was Kensington in 2004. They lost game one, went on to win a best-of-3 series. Go figure.
Wow, that's massive stat, and like you said, it sets up your pitching staff and sets up your confidence for the rest of the series. But you know, for West Torrens, there you go. You got the speedy George on base, and you know, it's an interesting combination because he seems to go about the first 2 or 3 pitches he gets on first. So now it's just about Jordy being able to hold him, and we'll see what Scotty does if he lays down a bunt or lets Nick steal second base here. Nick
George led the league in stolen bases last season. This year, only 12 stolen bases, but his batting average a little bit down last year. Jacob Scott swings through a pitch that Jordy Gross delivers, and he's quickly ahead 0-2.
Good fastball today for Jordy.
Jordy Gross needs to be good today. There's no doubt about that. He needs to go deep into the game, too. And he's very conscious of what Nick George can do over at first. He's an energy player, Nick George.
Yeah, he gives the catcher some havoc on the base pass, that's for sure. Big secondary lead, always looking to run, so big pitch right here, 2 strikes.
George goes, swing and a miss. They're going to try to strike him out, throw him out, and he got him. A strike him out, throw him out. Gross to Weber, and he gunned him down. It was Yanazawa that applied the tag. Here's the replay.
What a play right there. And kudos to Jordy going 0-2, giving Griff a chance with a good fastball up and away, and you know, got the swing and miss, and Griff couldn't have thrown a ball any perfect to second base. That was well done on both sides.
You can see Jordy Gross getting pumped up. That energy levels was something that Russell Hart talked about after the game, saying that maybe the guys were just a little overly excited to be in a grand final. I mean, they haven't been in one in 23 years, and it's a lot of these players' first time playing in a game like this, so it's understandable, and West Torrens jumped them early.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they've been the team that's been here the past couple years, and, you know, they're the experienced team, but all it takes is that one game. So if Henley can get that one tonight, the tides can change essentially for tomorrow's game. So it's a good start for them.
Tom McGarry, 36 RBI on the season. He leads West Torrens. He had the most last year. He's driven in probably the most combined runs over the last couple years. So taking Nick George off the base pass is massive from a Henley&Grange perspective.
Yeah, that's huge. I like the aggressiveness. And Scotty's a big contact guy in the batter's box as well, so I don't mind that steal right there. It was just well executed by Jordy and a heck of a throw by Griff.
So a hit by pitch and then caught stealing for Nick George. Tom McGarry takes a pitch. It's a 2-1 count with 2 outs. Gross delivers, and he's finding the strike zone other than that little blip with the hit by pitch.
This is exactly what you want to see from Jordy. He's confident in his fastball. His breaking ball, that was the one that he left for Nick, but he plays off that changeup and his cutter as well.
And it's a walk, so another base runner as Tom McGarry will reach again. He had a really good night last night. He went 2 for 3. He had 2 walks. He had an RBI. I mean, he'd be in contention very early on for an MVP of a series based on how he's performed so far. He's had 6 plate appearances. He's been on base 5 of those times.
He's a big-time player. And he's the heart and soul of firing that team up offensively or behind the dish. So look for him to do the same today.
Sam McGarry up to bat. Entering last night, Sam McGarry and Tom McGarry, their batting averages, if you combine their playoffs and their regular season, were separated by 1/100th of a percentage at 368 and 369 respectively. Brothers almost with the same batting average.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good combo to have right in the middle of your lineup back-to-back, too.
Nico and Nathan Vanderlinden, identical batting averages. How does that happen?
That's pretty unreal.
It's hard enough to have the same batting averages as your teammate, let alone your brother on your same team. And Sam McGarry just fouls one away. So once again, Jordy Gross trying to fill up the strike zone and evens up the count at 1-1.
Yeah, Jordy's doing a good job of mixing his fastball outside and inside. He did the same thing with Tom. So first pitch fastball away, second pitch was in. Let's see where he goes to on this one.
And he's finding the plate.
He's finding the plate, and he needed that. That's his breaking ball. He's now getting over, so he needs to establish that in order to be successful the rest of the game.
1-2 count coming to Sam McGarry. There is a runner on first, his brother Tom, and it hit him again. So it's quite literally hit or miss right now with Jordy Gross in this game.
Yeah, I mean, he's coming inside trying to put him away. That one, I think he just overthrew a little bit and just hit a piece of Sam. So big at bat right here with 2 outs, runner in scoring position, and you got the veteran coach up to the box.
Tyrone Hambley played NCAA Division I baseball, but he has been the head coach of this West Torrens team for a number of years now. He's helped guide them to 2 premierships, helped break a drought. When he first took over the team, he guided the under 16 and under 18 state teams to drought-breaking championships. And a lot of those players that were on the team are on his teams that he coached in the juniors. He now coaches at the senior level.
You can't say enough about Bones. I mean, the stuff that he's done all throughout the community, and particularly here at West Torrens, I mean, you look at that team, you go through the lineup, you don't have too many guys that are going out there just winning you a Triple Crown, but the way that they play the game is they're just a great team, and they're a very tough team to play, and they're always successful when it comes late into the season. And that's a tribute to him and obviously all these hard work that the players have done with him.
There's a few cornerstone players that grew up playing at West Torrens, and you mix in a couple of marquee recruits, and it's a combination for something good. Nick George being one of those recruits at one stage, Mitch Neuenborn being another, and then some club lifers like your Nate Vanderlindens, your Nico Vanderlindens, the McGarrys. They just kind of go hand in hand with what West Torrens has been. And
They
Tyrone
do.
Hambley, one of them.
They do, and it seems like the guys that they get in, they fit perfectly into what they're trying to do, and they've become role. I mean, you have, like Mitch Neuenborn, you've got some superstar players, but they fit into a role that helps these guys push and win even more.
Hambley goes after a pitch. It's popped straight up but back, and now he's in a 1-2 hole. That one fouled away. Gross has got up to 2 strikes on pretty much every one of his batters, but he's got a walk and 2 hit by pitches, so his command a little off at the moment.
Yeah, he's got to find that put away pitch. On Scotty, it was that fastball away, and so let's see what he goes to here.
This one up the middle. Garbella diving. McGarry will be held up at third. So the bases are loaded. It's not the 3 quickest base runners in the competition on right now, and Hambley, McGarry, and McGarry, but bases are loaded nonetheless.
Yeah, it's a great piece of hitting right there. Jordy was trying to go fastball in, just left it out over the plate, and good piece of hitting for Bones to go with it to the other way and give a chance to drive in a run.
Well, already 4 base runners in the game so far for West Torrens. They left the bases loaded twice last night in their win. They were pressuring for more throughout the night, but Landon Hernandez sort of a bend but don't break performance in his start. And already West Torrens, no huge hits, but just getting guys on base and moving them around.
Scrappy at bats. That's what their offense is.
Vanderlinden of the Nico variety swings through one. The Vanderlinden brothers, they mixed family. Their dad is Canadian, but they moved over from the Middle East, believe it or not. They were living in Dubai, played baseball over there at one point. They lived all over the world, and they came and settled in South Australia when Vanderlindens were 10-12, and they joined West Torrens Baseball Club, and they never looked back. Both have been key parts of the program ever since.
Great players, but even better people, so it's awesome to have them a part of this community.
Nico gets called for a strike, so it'll be a 1-2 count on the board. Another big 2-strike pitch coming from Jordy Gross. Bases are loaded. Off towards right field. Charging on is Phil Acosta. He's got to make this play, and he does so. West Torrens load him, but they can't score him, and they keep it 0-0. And Gally, you know, you heard Russell Hart say, I think the guys were a little overexcited. Jordy Gross didn't play last night, obviously. He's the starter in this game today, and maybe it was a case of Jordy again being overexcited, overthinking a little bit this starting appearance in that first grand final.
You see it happen all the time in the big leagues in the postseason. I mean, it's always the first inning, and I think for Jordy to get out of that with no runs is a big win, no matter what the pitch count is. So hopefully he can settle down from that. This
is how West Torrens will line up defensively on the infield left to right. At third is Jacob Scott, Nico Vanderlinden at shortstop, Sam McGarry at second, and Tyrone Hambley at first. Nick George at left field, Jasper Clark at center field, and Nathan Vanderlinden at right field. Tom McGarry is catching the balls and strikes, and Masakio Sawada is the starting pitcher of this game. Now, Austin Gallagher, West Torrens were 5-6-2, just 2 games in after the after the Christmas break. They came back, they were below 500, they weren't even in the finals race. Enter Mr. Sawada right here, who is being used as a starter. He's been used in relief. He's a 58.2 innings, 6-1 record, 7 starts, 8 relief appearances, 76 strikeouts in that time. And I don't think it's a coincidence that since he's been part of this team, West Torrens are 20-2. A player that's sort of unlocked a few different pitching combinations on how you manage the rotation.
Yeah, he's been massive for them, and I think that's as soon as you started getting those Tuesday twilight games mixed in with the Saturday, their rotation and their depth really showed. And that's the thing that makes West Torrens so strong, is that not only do they have a couple starters, but a lot of guys that can be in any type of role from the pitching standpoint, and he fits in beautifully to their plan, particularly coming in out of the pen in game ones and then going out to start this game. So they've been consistent with that through the finals, and see how he does today.
Different arm slots, he's got different speeds, he's got an ephus that he can throw. He can really throw you off balance. You faced him this year?
I have, yeah. He mixes all of that stuff up. He's got a really good split finger. He's pretty quick home to the plate, and then he, like you said, he changes speeds with that curveball. Sometimes an ephus, sometimes a hard breaking ball. So
certainly a swing and miss player with those 76 strikeouts in the 58 2/3 innings. Koki Yanazawa will lead things off for Henley&Grange. We'll get you their batting order in just a moment, but it's a Japanese player on Japanese player battle right now. Koki Yanazawa, what a break. Well, he had a breakout season last year, but he probably took his game to a next level this year. He's hitting .347, an OPS over 1,000, 4 home runs, 21 RBIs at the top of the lineup. Handy player to have, Koki Yanazawa.
He is, and he's pretty an intimidating force because he stands really close to the plate and he can turn on anything inside. So he, he's a tough one. He uses all parts of the field. He can bunt, he can run. He's been a great asset at the top.
Right to his countryman in Sawada, and he throws him out over at first for the first out. Yanazawa, then Jack Partington will follow him. He'll be up to bat now. Giovanni Garbella at 3, Landon Hernandez at 4, Liam Bull at 5. Those first 5 all on the Team of the Year, awarded at Caps Medal on Wednesday night. Griff Weber at 6, Jet Clohesi at 7, Luke Travaskis at 8, and Phil Acosta rounds out the lineup at 9. This is Jack Partington, and he had another big season, hitting just over 390 in the regular season, but showing some power. He had 8 bombs this year.
Yeah, the power production is the biggest thing for Pardo, because he can run, he can always get on base, but he was very consistent with the bat, and big-time home runs in the playoffs and towards the end of the season, which kept them very dominant all throughout.
It's a very intimidating first 5 of the lineup, and they've scored a lot of runs this year. They were wire-to-wire leaders in the competition this season.
Yeah, definitely strongest offense in the league. And like you said, there's no one in that 1 through 5 that you guys want to face. And it's the combination of contact, power, and speed. A lot of those guys have quite the stolen base total as well as home runs.
Partington swings through a pitch, and there's that little mix in speed and variation from Sawada.
Yeah, that's right. He can cut that fastball. Sometimes he throws that split, and, the slow curveball, he just mixes it in there. So
1-2 pitch to Partington. And Partington swings through it. It's a strikeout, and it's 2 up, 2 down to start the evening for Sawada.
That's a tough sequence right there. A couple different pitches throwing him off bat, and then to finish him off with the high fastball was good location.
Giovanni Garbella, certainly the most productive hitter in the competition this season, including the finals. In his 33 games played, he had 15 home runs, 51 RBIs. Swings at the first pitch, 12 stolen bases. Last night he was 1 for 2, but he's .404 batting average and a .1461 OPS. Just some pretty gaudy numbers from Mr. Garbella.
Dominant. Regular season Triple Crown winner right here, so the numbers don't lie, and toughest out in the league for sure. The guy can get to anything. He can cover sliders off the plate, can turn on a fastball, and hit quite a few homers here in the Super League as well. So there's no park that can hold him in the league.
Named the Super League MVP, won the batting title in the South Australian Baseball League. Had a stint with the Canberra Cavalry in the ABL. They picked him up in the second half of the season. An independent ball player who was in the Frontier League last season. So Garbella, a big baseball. He's just a big baseball fan in general. If you ever have a chance to chat to Giovanni Garbella, anyone in the community, he loves to chat baseball just in general about anything.
Yeah, you're right. He's a great guy, and you know, he's been very versatile for them as well too. Playing left field, third base, a little bit of short, been on the mound. He's been all over the spot. So.
Did he go? No, he didn't. So it's a walk in the first base runner of the day for the Rams. They had to replace a lot of production. They lost Wilson Lee, Darcy Berry, Bass Noy, and you looked on paper and you said, oh, Henley maybe not going to be as strong this year. We were wrong. They were, in fact, the complete opposite. They were better.
Even stronger offensively, and I think that's the thing is, yeah, they had a lot of really good talent last year, but their lineup just rounds out perfectly, and there's a lot of good combination, like we said, about power and speed, and they were definitely the scariest offensive team to face.
Landon Hernandez steps in. He was the Game 1 starter. Sawada checks the runner at first. Hernandez has now been in Australia for, well, this is his 12th year, I believe, in Australia. He's one of those imports that came over to Australia and loved it. Go figure.
Yep. Can't beat it here. That's pretty good.
You know the story?
I know the story. Yep, same boat.
What season are you in now, Gally?
This was the end of my seventh
season.
Yep. So time flies.
Hernandez stands in. Well, just like you, he's no longer an import, even though he had that 4-year career at Hawaii. Had some time in the ABL. You guys were teammates in the ABL as well.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Back in the bite days. But, yeah, Landon's done amazing things for this community, and, yeah, it's awesome having him here as well.
So, did he get him? Oh, a good pick. Sawada seems awfully concerned with Giovanni Garbella over at first base.
Yeah, he had the 2 setup moves and almost got him with his good one right there. That was really quick. Just got up to that tag.
Talked to Tyrone Hambley, and he says Sawada just loves baseball. He would play every day if he could. Hernandez fouls one away. And I wonder if they plan to use him every day. He pitched 21 pitches last night. If he throws 60 or more pitches in this game today, he would be ineligible for tomorrow. So a little part of the strategy for Tyrone Hambley and West Torrens on how you use him, depending on the game situation, the score, a few different things for Sawada.
Yeah, you're right. That's how they used him in Game 2.
As this goes up the middle and over the head of a leaping McGarry. Garbella, a hard turnaround, too. And just like that, from 2 out and nobody on to 2 out and a 1-3 split. That just fell over the head of Sam McGarry.
Big 2-strike hit right there. Breaking ball, he missed his spot a little bit coming up and in, but for Landon to fight that off and keep the line rolling is big for them.
Well, Liam Bull is a lifelong Ram. He started playing T-ball at Henley&Grange. He loved it a lot. He kept playing. He plays in the ABL now with the Giants, and he is a lifelong Ram that I'm sure is relishing the opportunity to play in this game.
Such a great kid, such a hard worker. Combination of speed, power, athleticism, and you know, awesome third baseman.
He's the team of the year as well, but defensively he really improved his game compared to past seasons, Liam Bull.
Yeah, he has. And it's just, he does something every year just to round out his game, and, you know, a legit potential 5-tool player.
Pitch rides up inside from Sawada. So Bull takes that patiently. It's now a 2-1 count. Garbella at third, Hernandez at first. Both teams pressuring early. West Torrens left the bases loaded in their first crack at this game. Henley doing something eerily similar right now. Can they cash someone in? Bull to right field, and he scored the game's first run. A 2-out rally from Henley&Grange, and they have an early lead, and it's the lifelong Ram that gets it done.
Coming up big right there. Pitch low and away, didn't get overly aggressive. He did his job, went with the pitch, and drove the runner in. That was a great piece of hitting, especially there with 2 outs. As a young kid coming in to a grand final like this, you can potentially have the jitters to try to go up there and do something big, but he took what the pitcher was giving him, and now they're up 1-0.
Last night, Liam Bull did the same thing in terms of there was a runner at third, there was 1 out, and he laid down a bunt, caught everybody off guard, scored a run. So Liam Bull playing a few different games for his team to get them runs on the board.
Whatever it takes. Great heads-up baseball.
Griffin Weber first pitch swing. This one is flared foul. Nate Vanderlinden had a look, but that was well gone. And just like that, it was 2 outs. It looked like Sawada was going to be cruising through the inning, and now all of a sudden West Torrens are behind.
Yep, that's just quality at bats. They've just taken what the pitcher's given them and collected a run out there. Big piece of hitting the past 2 at bats.
Griff Weber stands in. He's behind 0-1. That ball rides a little bit up from Sawada. Sawada a 1.09 whip on the season, a 3.37 ERA. And again, this fouled away, so a couple strikes on the board again.
Yeah, fastball's up. Griff's just been a little bit late on him, and we'll be interested to see where he goes on this pitch. He's just left his couple breaking balls up as well, so see if he attacks him away with that breaking ball or if he goes split in the dirt.
Pitch again just on the outside, works it to a 2-2 count. Another big early moment for West Torrens. They don't want to fall behind too much too early. Swing and a miss, so that gets them out of the inning. Both teams have opportunities in the first. Henley&Grange, the only ones that can cash them in. It's a 1-0 lead. You're watching the State League Grand Final, Game 2. We'll be back after this.
Business servicing local communities with the ability to offer you and your business the best prices. We offer a large range of office supplies from pens, ink cartridges and toner to monitors, keyboards and laptops. If you can't see it on our website or in our catalogue, ask us and we'll source it for you. We have a partnership with Kaishira Document Solutions where you will find many leasing options available for these state-of-the-art units and plenty to choose from whether you have 5 or 5,000 employees. We offer businesses a one-stop shop for all cleaning, kitchen and bathroom needs. Check out our website at www.hilltopofficesupplies.com.au. Register your business to stay on top of the latest sales and receive member specials. We are baseball people here to support the baseball community.
Well, both teams with scoring opportunity in the first inning. West Torrens had the bases loaded. Both teams had 2 outs and nobody on and created something from a little bit of nothing. But Liam Bull with the RBI to right field to put Henley&Grange up 1-0. This isn't their first lead of the tournament. They did have a 2-1 lead rather last night, but Mitch Neuenborn ended up tying the game, making it 2-2 before West Torrens started to pull away late. Mitch Neuenborn will be leading off this inning with Nathan Vanderlinden and Jasper Clark due up in order for the Eagles, who are looking to win their 2nd championship in a row and their 3rd in a 6-year stretch. So Neuenborn, Vanderlinden, Clark, and then they would turn the lineup over again. Eric Balnar on the call, Austin Gallagher also in the building. We're so glad that you could join us here at Bennett Field on beautiful Ghana land. So Let's see how this game all shapes up tonight. Mitch Neuenborn walks up to plate, and what a story for him. He just signed a contract with the Philadelphia Phillies off the backs of a fantastic season on the mound. That was at the World Baseball Classic with Team Australia and, of course, with the Adelaide Giants. And he was a key part in getting Australia to the quarterfinals, the furthest they've ever gone at the WBC. And, of course, the Adelaide Giants winning the Claxton Shield. I'm sure you've probably all heard about that. Jordy Gross, 2-hit batters already. That one rides up inside. And this pitch finds the zone. The off speed from Jordy Gross makes it a 1-1 count. Neuenborn on the season didn't play all that consistently. He started the year, finished the year, but he had Adelaide Giants duties and Team Australia duties in between. That pitch finds the strike zone once again. His home run was impressive because it was into the wind in opposite field. They'll land this again, so a 2-2 count. Full count, rather. Gross delivering to Neuenborn. Neuenborn swings through it, and Jordy Gross has his first strikeout of the evening. Hit by pitch, a walk and a hit in the first. So he's looking to settle down and come back up. He's an efficient pitcher when he works at his best. Was the pitcher of the year a couple seasons ago in the State League when he had a 13-0 record and a 1.69 ERA. Earned a spot with the Adelaide Giants this year. Started a couple games. Was on the team with this guy, Nathan Vanderlinden. But Gross, one of the big acquisitions from Henley&Grange just a few seasons ago with Jack Partington. This knocked over towards first base, scooped up. Hernandez flips to Gross, and there's 2 quick outs. Hernandez, one of the most underrated fielding first basemen. He gets down on a hot shot from Vanderlinden and well covered from Jordy Gross. So very quickly, 2 up, 2 down. Brings up Jasper Clark, sort of one of those energy players in the local state leagues over the last couple seasons. 1 for 3 last night, scored 2 runs. Jasper Clark was a spark plug last year in the championship series. A couple decisive hits, a couple nice plays in the field. That pitch rides up down a little bit on the outside. Evens the count up at 1. Grounded right back towards Gross. He can't make the play. Charging on his bull on the bare end across the diamond. What a play! A slow roller that Liam Bull had to charge onto. And Liam Bull, off of a weird bounce off the mound, a slow roller, a scoop of fire. And Clark isn't exactly slow on the base paths. Austin Gallagher, you're a third baseman. Can you walk me through this play? Like, that can't be easy.
On that type of play that's hit that slow, it's a do or die. And going in bare hand, got a lucky kick there, but unreal play. Super athletic.
He didn't really have much time to think. Is that just all it is? It's just a complete reaction play?
Just reaction and just going full tilt. So it's pure athleticism right there.
At what point do you hold the ball when you pick it up and you say, hey, like, are you watching the runner down the line and then making a decision whether you throw it or not, or is it throw all the way?
It's more you just make that decision right away. If it's hit where you think you got an opportunity, you don't really have too much time to think. So especially in a bare hand play, you either get a good grasp and you just let it go, or if not, then got to hold the runner on zone.
So a quick inning from Jordy Gross that inning. That's exactly kind of what you were talking about at the start, and then he was saying that's what Jordy Gross likes to do. He likes to work quickly, get ahead in counts, and he goes 1, 2, 3, just like that, and you have 3 minutes to think. You step away for a moment, and all of a sudden, they're out of the inning.
Well, that's it. I mean, both pitchers are just trying to establish what sides of the plate they got today, and they're off speed. And, you know, for Jordy, he's got a good pitch mix, and if he can find all those in the zone for strikes, then he's going to be very successful. And in the first inning, it was just a couple hit batters, just let a couple balls loose, but he was getting ahead, he was executing his game plan, and there it was, you know, fine-tuned.
Jet Clohessy steps into the batter's box. This was just his first full season at the Division I level, but he's certainly one of the players that Baseball South Australia as a state has identified as one of those promising young players coming up. You've worked with Jet before?
He is. He's a big, strong kid. He's excellent defensively, and, you know, big body, and very comparable to Jordy McCardle when he grew up playing catcher behind the dish.
And he gets a nice, favorable hop, and off that infield, it takes a weird bounce, goes over the glove of Tyrone Hambley, and Jet Clohessy's the leadoff runner aboard.
There's another leadoff runner getting on. That's huge for Henley&Grange coming up, and will be interesting to see how they play this, whether they play small ball or try to move these runners around.
Luke Travaskis steps into the batter's box. Travaskis and Clohessy, Liam Bull. These are players at Henley&Grange that have won premierships in the junior ranks moving up for Henley&Grange. They've done this before. Travaskis showing bunt, and they'll get the lead runner at 2. So probably not exactly what they wanted to happen Henley&Grange.
That's a very athletic play. It's not easy to get off the mound as a pitcher, but he composed himself threw a strike to second base, and that's big for them to get the lead out, especially when they're trying to sacrifice him over in that situation.
See Clohessy just checking on Nico van der Linden. Here's Phil Acosta. Phil has got his family that's flown in from California this weekend to come watch him play in Henley's historic grand final.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Same thing with Philly. Been over here for a long time. Great guy, and he's kind of rounds out that bottom half of the order, but good base runner. He can bunt too, but has been hitting a lot better the past couple seasons, and seems to always get on base somehow.
Plays at Henley&Grange, lives in the area as well. Yeah, he's been around for a while. Was over at college, came over here, probably that 2015-16 sort of range. Hitting .304 from the 9-hole this season, and swings through a pitch from Sawada, who will be looking for perhaps a double play ball.
Yeah, Philly's that type of guy. Like I said, he can bunt, he can hit and run, he can get on base in all kinds of different ways. He's, you know, he's a very, very good team player down there for them.
Acosta up the middle, van der Linden flips for 1. Can they get 2? The throw a little bit errant, so they couldn't turn 2. They had the double play ball, but the throw not quite on the money.
Yeah, it's the pitch you want as a pitcher. Got your ground ball, just that feed was a little bit up the line, so Sam couldn't really get too good of a grip on that. And you know, 2 outs, but you got a couple options here. Top of the lineup coming up. Phil's got some good speed, so we'll see if he takes off as well, or let Koki hit here.
Koki Yanazawa grounded out in his first at-bat. He is 0 for 1. Last night he was 1 for 4 with a walk. Yanazawa just signed to go play in Austria, I believe.
Yep, Wiener Neustadt, the Diving Ducks.
The Diving Ducks.
Diving Ducks.
You played against them before or seen them around?
I've seen them around, yeah. They've actually got a real good softball program there, too. So, yeah, they're a good team in Austria. And I think it might have been Tom Bell. Somebody from Henley played for the Diving Ducks before, too. So maybe a connection there from that.
You've seen more and more players head over to Europe. Another one of Henley&Grange's players last year, Wilson Lee, over at Bonn.
Head coach for Bonn now.
Is he?
He's the head coach. So that's
Are you going over and playing?
Was originally planning on it, but hopefully staying here this offseason. So we'll see things go that way.
A few seasons in Germany for you. I've heard that the European baseball culture is a fun one. I was just at the World Baseball Classic and was around that Czech national team and got all kinds of stories from a few different players that had played both in Australia and in the Czech Republic and in Europe and in Prague Baseball Week.
Yeah, it's anytime you're playing internationally, you just get a whole different cultural experience. And I think seeing baseball and how it operates all throughout the globe is just wonderful. For you, same thing, being the World Baseball Classic, Japan, and that atmosphere, even just on TV, gave me goosebumps and seemed electric.
Yeah, Koki Yanazawa would know all about that Japanese baseball culture. Yanazawa fouls one away. A few connections on that World Baseball Classic team from the Czech Republic to South Australia. Of course, you had Martin Music and Philip Kapka that both played in the South Australian State League this season that were on the team. But then guys like Alex Durhawk was the hitting coach, and he played in the ABL and in the SABL and all in Adelaide. And Jason Daniels, I don't know if you came across those guys when they were playing over in Europe as well. He played for the Adelaide Bite, and Jason Daniels doing some reporting. Jason Daniels is from Lancaster, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was sitting there reporting on the game, working for a California newspaper that played for the Adelaide Bite from Lancaster.
Wow.
Heard of that place?
I have a few times. But it's, like I said, the state leagues, even the pitcher for Czech Republic, Martin Schneider, was Kensington import at one stage in 2011. So
one of them was the Game 3 starter in a premiership winning season.
He was, yeah, and had threw the decisive game to get them into the World Baseball Classic, and as a firefighter.
Yeah, that was a cool moment.
Successful baseball player.
When the manager of the Czech Republic came out and bowed to Schneider as like a thank you of support, because he gave an epic performance versus an Australian lineup that was no slouch. Like, they scored a lot of runs off everybody except for Martin Schneider.
He did. He's just a competitor, and he goes out there and gives it his all, and that's what's allowed him to play baseball for so long.
But so many different connections as Yanazawa flies one up in the air. It's caught by McGarry, and that will end the inning. So we're through 2. It's a 1-0 lead for Henley&Grange, but a good battle again. Yanazawa stays with it. McGarry makes the play.
That's it. Both pitchers settling in here, and as that sun gets down, the wind starts to pick up a little bit. So look for the pitchers to have an advantage, and defense makes the plays. It's going to be a little bit tougher to score from here on out.
We've played 2. We'll take a quick break and be back with inning 3 at the State League Championship Series.
Citadel IT has been built on the foundations of trust and reliability. We have experience in all aspects of IT, including cloud computing, security, networking, and more. If you are looking for an experienced team that will give you an honest answer about your business needs, then contact Citadel IT today.
Well, both teams threatened in the first inning, but only Henley could cash in a run. Just a solo run. Liam Bull drove in that run. It's now a 1-0 game. Rams leading the Eagles here in game number 2 of the series. Eagles have a 1-0 lead. Eric Ballner, Austin Gallagher joining on the call. Second time through now against Jordy Gross, although the first part of the lineup found some success against Gross, whether it be walks, hit by pitch, or a hit. Couldn't score any runs off of him, though.
Yeah, and this is where going up the second time through, it's tough because there was a couple guys that got hit by pitch, a couple guys that got on base in different ways. So as an offense, you don't really know what you're sitting on right here. So will be interesting to see how Jordy attacks the second half of the lineup. But obviously he's got his pitches on. He's been getting ahead. So good time to see what they got.
Nick George was hit by pitch and then caught stealing in his first time up. 2 for 4 last night. George grew up playing his baseball at Northern Districts before moving over to West Torrens and had that awesome full season last year. And he goes up the middle, and Garbella reaches up and robs George of a base hit. There's the athleticism from the star second baseman.
Big time play right there. Anytime you get a leadoff runner on, it's pretty dangerous, and especially with Nick, and that's just a great play of athleticism. That first step quickness is what allowed him to get that ball, and great play. Good start.
Jacob Scott will follow him. Grounded out at his last at-bat. Scott, another lifelong West Torrens player. In fact, he's the 3rd generation West Torrens players, and all 3 of the generations are premiership players for West Torrens.
That's pretty good.
All 3 Scotts.
That's awesome.
He held up his end of the bargain on winning a premiership for the Eagles.
He did.
been used in a few different roles over his time at the Eagles. He's even pitched some games and got in the game as a pitcher before. Just an all-around baseball player, Jacob Scott.
That's right. He could play anywhere on the diamond. Obviously, he prefers to play infield, but seen him a little bit at short and third, the outfield, on the mound. He can do it all. Great utility player.
Hit number 2 in the lineup. Flares one out towards center field. Should be playable for Partington. It is. And Jordy Gross has now sat down 6 in a row and now seems to have found his command a little bit.
That's the groove that you're talking about. When he can establish both sides of the plate with his fastball, it's really tough to hit. He's got the changeup. He can throw his fastball either sides of the plate. And the slider he can use as a cutter or kind of a wipeout breaking pitch too. So he's locked in right now.
Tom McGarry walked his first time up, 6 plate appearances in this championship series, and he's been on base 5 times. 12 home runs this season from Tom McGarry.
Yeah, big power numbers this year. I saw that as well. 10 in the regular season, 2 in the postseason. He had a really good postseason run the past 2 series, so very tough out.
Has provided a few clutch hits as well, as much as West Torrens has won in 2023. They have won in a lot of close games. 11 of those games have been by 2 runs or less in victories. So while they're on a fantastic run at the moment, they've won 10 straight, they've won 20 of 22, including the finals. They haven't been blowing teams out of the water. Even last night, they won by 4 runs, but that game was very close right until the very end.
It was, you're right. It was close throughout. And the separation was just a couple of the little things, a couple funny hops, and, manufacturing runs.
Tom McGarry had a brief stint with the Adelaide Bite in the ABL in the 2017-18 season. Been a mainstay on this Eagles team. Already won 2 premierships with this team. And it's another walk again. They can't get this guy out. 6 times he's been on base in 7 appearances.
No, he doesn't chase. He's got to get himself out. And the way that he's been informed the past couple weeks, doesn't seem like he's going to do that very often.
Well, let's see what his brother Sam can do to drive him in. 0 for 3, a run and an RBI last night. He had that sacrifice fly. Was hit by the pitch as well. The McGarrys know how to get out. Or know how to get on, rather. They don't know how to get out. That's the problem for the opposition.
They don't.
Both with on-base percentages hovering around that 500 mark. A swing and a miss. You talked to Tyrone Hambley, and he said they were never really overly concerned when they were in their slow start. It was a matter of kind of sticking with the plan and hoping that everything would work out. Get some injuries on the mend, get a bit more confidence back, recover from a couple key losses, add in Sawada, and everything ended up just being just okay for West Torrens.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and it's all about being hot at the right time, and they definitely picked the right time to be hot. So they're on a good little run here.
It was a close SABL season this year in the Hilltop Office Supplies State League. It came really down to the final couple rounds to determine not only the positioning of the top 6, but also who would be in the top 6 in general.
Yeah, it was a dogfight all throughout. I mean, even for getting in that 6th spot, having imports back in the league, it just made things interesting for every single game. And yeah, you're exactly right. Those positions, home field finals, getting into the finals, it was up for grabs for the last couple weeks of the season.
Ball and 2 strikes. And that will strike him out to end the inning. So Jordy Gross well in a groove. He's got 2 strikes, 2 strikeouts on the board. Well, and the league also made a decision last year to give the bottom 4 teams in the prior season the opportunity to recruit 2 imports on the team. And of course, it's all about what you do with that opportunity. And Adelaide were as good as an example as anybody. They picked 2 fantastic imports. In fact, if you pick an import that wins the Caps medal, you probably selected a pretty strong import yourself. And also a couple recruits. Obviously, Stephen Welsh moving there helps. Max Tracy finding a local gem there as well. But Do you like that move, having the bottom 4 teams having an opportunity to get that extra player to help improve the team?
I think it was pretty awesome having a team like Adelaide. They haven't been to the finals in so long, and then they had some help getting them over the line. But perennially, I think what I enjoyed the most as a coach was that there were no slouches. Like, everybody had imports. Every game that you played meant something, and that was something that was awesome for the league. And they were between that 5 to 8, 9 spot. Everybody was fighting for that, and it came down to the last couple games, and that's what you want to see as a league.
Yeah, so we'll find out. I guess now we'll start another off season as soon as this series ends, and we'll find out about what the bottom 4 teams this year will do in recruiting some more import talent, and getting some better baseball players and some high-end talent in the state is always a good thing.
Yeah, you're exactly right. The standard of pitching was definitely up this year, and look, first time coming back with imports, it's always going to be tough, especially when you're facing a guy like Ethan Scooge that has over 200 strikeouts and breaking the record and throwing mid-90s. But it's awesome to have them back, and look forward to even bigger and better things for the league.
Jack Partington, Giovanni Garbella, and Landon Hernandez due up for Henley&Grange. They have that 1-0 lead thanks to Liam Bull's 2-out single in the first inning. This is a dangerous part of the lineup. Partington may as well be another leadoff player with the skill set he possesses.
Yeah, that's right. Anytime he gets on, he can take the base. And he's one of the best I've seen stealing third base as well. He just gets such good jumps and reads the pitchers very well.
Strike is the outside edge.
Quick pitch.
Well, Sawada, you saw this last night. Sometimes he slowed it down, sometimes he picked it up. He's got a feel of the game, changes the tempo a lot.
That's right. And that was a longer pause. The second pitch, he didn't even come set. He went right from taking the sign right into throwing a slider.
The pitch count will be something that will be worth monitoring for Sawada as well in this game, as Partington fouls this one away. And I'm sure it's something that Russell Hart knows too, to try to push him close to that 60 mark and then just make Tyrone Hambley make a decision based on the game situation too.
Yeah, you're right. In a one-run game like this is where it's not the easiest decisions. You just got to trust your gut and go with it, and hopefully the team's got your back.
So the 1-2 count coming in. And he got him. Third strikeout of the day for Masakayo Sawada. And it's the second time Partington's been down on strikes.
That's a great sequence right there. Going first pitch fastball away, then slider away, and then to locate that fastball in was outstanding pitching right there.
So it's 43 pitches so far for Sawada. If he hits 60, as this is cranked on the first pitch from Giovanni Garbella. Had a really good night last night, 1 for 2 with 2 walks. Tonight he's got a walk and a hit, and he's got a nice defensive play, and Garbella it's the same as it's been all year.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, he was picking up, and that's the thing. All the West Torrens players, really, they don't, as a pitching staff, they don't walk too many guys. So it's important as a hitter that you're ready for that first pitch, and he definitely was.
Landon Hernandez up to bat. He has a hit in this game too. So does Liam Bull. This was the part of the lineup that got that 2-out rally started in the first. And Hernandez, after the first pitch, an awkward play, but Scott picks it up, and he dropped the ball at second. McGarry had the out, but he couldn't finish the play.
Yeah, right on the transfer. I mean, tough feed. He tried to get rid of it, and that's what happens. It was pretty tough hop. That was unbelievable for Scotty to be able to handle that. It was a high bounce and then just hit the lip and stayed down. So for him to handle that was a big play, because that ball usually gets through, and that could have been runners on first and second with 1 out.
Did they just call him out now? Yeah, so he's out at second.
Yeah, they called it on the transfer. It was one of those that it had to be a quick hard throw from McGarry, and I think he just lost it on the transfer. Tough spot to turn a double play, and yeah, it could have went either way.
Well, I think Russell Hart is questioning as well, because the umpire called him out, then it was kind of a safe call, and I think that's what he's looking for clarity on. Here's the play here. Yeah, it's definitely the transfer. He's definitely the right call to be out.
Yeah.
But I think that's what he's confused about. It was out than safe than out from the umpire call.
Yeah, he didn't call it on the transfer, but you could see that he clearly had it, just lost it trying to throw it.
So it'll be 2 outs now. That's pitch number 46 from Sawada. And it's going to be decision time soon for Tyrone Hambley. And you always see him biting his nails over at first base, having a little think about the game of baseball in his life. And I'm sure that's on his mind right now, as that's pitch number 47 from Sawada. What would you do? Would you let Sawada ride out and try to win that premiership with a long start from Sawada tonight, knowing he can go as many as 125 pitches tonight? He only threw 21 last night. Or would you take him out at 60 no matter what and save him for tomorrow? It's the age-old, do you win the game in front of you, or do you keep something in the tank just in case?
I think Tyrone will have a little bit better judge of his pitching staff. I think it all kind of depends, because I don't know if he would have thrown 3 days in a row, because that's not an easy task as well. I mean, yeah, you can keep him under 60 pitches, but going 3 nights in a row, and particularly not having a 24-hour recovery turnaround.
Yeah, because it'd be a 2 o'clock game tomorrow.
Tough. Yeah, 2 o'clock game. I would probably let him go if he's staying successful, and yeah, just ride with it. It's 1-run game, so.
Yeah, it's a tough decision either way. Completely different if, let's say, Henley&Grange were up by 5 runs right now, and you say, okay, well, maybe we can come back, but let's keep him as a bullet for tomorrow just in case. Or if you were, up 5 runs, you're probably letting him go regardless to try to close this thing out. But this is a 1-run ball game, and you're the team on the wrong end. Liam Bull takes this pitch down low. I agree. I think you go and you try to win the game tonight. You don't worry about tomorrow if you're either of those teams.
Yeah, you're exactly right. But winning that game could be taking him out at 60, giving him a different look, and having somebody else that comes out there more fresh. So you just never know what the strategy is. And, last week against Sturt, that's what the plan was. They were up.
This grounded over towards the left side, and a great block, and now trying to make a run home. Hernandez, a play at the plate, and he's going to be tagged out. Wow, a bang play, and Henley robbed at home. It's still a 1-0 game.
Jeez, that's a heck of a play to stay with that ball. That's not easy, not an easy play, but I like the aggressive send, but it took a perfect throw, and wow. That's what you want to see. 2 outs, that's a stellar play. And a good tag by McGarry, too, to hold on to that ball with the big Landon coming in there for a slide.
Well, you're going to get a good look at this. We won't go to break here. We'll just watch this replay again.
Oof. That's a good slide, too.
That was a close decision, and you like the aggressive. I'm a big fan of always sending the runner on any 50-50 moment, because it forces them to make a play. And he made a play here. You tip your cap to him.
Yeah, he did. And honestly, with this wind in the field, it's tough to go through and expect to get hits. And with your 5-hole hitter coming up and 2 outs, why not? You got a 1-run lead, send him 2 outs. I love it.
Well, look at Landon here when he was rounding third. He wasn't thinking about anything else. He had his head down, and he was running around that corner no matter what.
He was going on contact. That's heads-up baseball. And honestly, kudos to Vanderlinden for slowing that ball down, because that could have easily have went through, and if that goes into left field untouched, then that's a run.
Well, at the same time, there's also 2 outs, right? So there's a lot of things that have to go fairly well. There's a lot of things that have to go well. I mean, if Vanderlinden blocks the ball and decides to try to run the player out at first, well, then all of a sudden Landon Hernandez is going to score. If Vanderlinden picks up the ball, holds the ball, freezes, well, then Landon Hernandez made the decision, goes, and he scores. It's only because Nico Vanderlinden made a split-second decision to throw the ball to home and make that decision. That's why you like sending the runner home, because there's way more things that could go wrong in that situation for West Torrens than could go right. So why not send him to play
always.
the percentages?
And you got to make a perfect throw. And especially just after you've dove and get back up off the ground, you're trying to figure out where the base runners are. So great play.
It's a good baseball move when everything goes right for both teams. It was good base running from Landon Hernandez, too.
Yeah, he had it in his mind he was scoring the whole way. If there was any doubt, he wouldn't have had any chance. So,
yeah, pretty good play on the slide there, too.
That was a great slide. Great slide. It was a lot closer on replay.
Well, it keeps it a 1-0 game. A few firework moments in this game. Tyrone Hambley will lead things off. Gally, do you feel some momentum in the dugout when you see your defense make a play like this and then you come out as a hitter?
You do, especially when you haven't scored a run. It just motivates you to pick it up a little bit more. And this part of the lineup right here can definitely work some good long at-bats.
So Tyrone Hambley, then Nico Vanderlinden, and Mitch Neuenborn are the ones that are due up. And Jordy Gross gets in there and lands that pitch for a strike. Good pitch on that breaking ball to get back in on the 2-1 count.
That's a big confidence pitch for him to throw a 2-0 breaking ball on that count. He's on.
Well, this one means a lot for Jordy Gross. He has been involved in a grand final when he was with Woodville before, but he had that meteoric rise from Division III to Division II to Division I and really found his home as a star with Henley&Grange.
He has, and you know, it all started in Super League and with the Crushers, and then coming out in his first year, he just really changed his game, and he's become a dominant starter in this league.
Fly ball. Garbella makes the play, 1 down. It started off a little bit shaky for Jordy Gross. Of his first 5 batters he faced, 4 of them reached, 2 hit batters, 1 walk, and a hit. But since then, he's allowed just the 1 walk. He hasn't allowed a hit in, well, 9 batters now.
Yeah, he's on. He's on. And you can tell by him throwing first hitter of the inning, 2-0 breaking ball to get ahead. That's his confidence. So he's able to throw any pitch in any count.
He's thrown only 57 pitches to this point. For having 5 base runners in the game, if you're in the 4th inning and only thrown 57 pitches, it could be much worse.
Yeah, this is exactly what Henley needed.
Grounded over towards shortstop. Yanazawa charges on, gets the transfer, fires across, and a nice looking play from Koki Yanazawa.
Great play, good sequence. That's Jordy getting ahead with the fastball, throwing the cutter, and then getting a ground ball to your all-star shortstop. Can't draw it up any better. 2 pitches, another out.
Using the field.
Using the field. That's what Jordy does best. So he can get the strikeout, but like we were talking about earlier in the broadcast, 3 pitches or less is his key to success.
Mitch Neuenborn up to bat. First at bat was a opposite field home run for Mitch Neuenborn. He's an athletic player, Mitch Neuenborn.
Athlete.
And he swings through the first pitch. You got to think that he would be available today, and especially in a closeout situation, if Henley or if West Torrens rather had like a 2-1, 3-2 lead late in the game, premiership on the line.
Oh, definitely.
A Phillies prospect available.
Yeah. I asked him last night, I was like, hey, was that one and done for you? Or I said, or are you going to be available? He's like, I'm available. So he wants it.
He's certainly a gamer. He's a winner. I know from talking to Jordan McCardle, they're in the same age group, and that McCardle grew up playing on state teams, and always, when they played WA, it was always, that Neuenborn kid that everyone was talking about, the good two-way player that could pitch and can hit, and was very happy when Neuenborn decided to play for the Adelaide Giants. And I'm probably even happier that he decided to sign a 3-year contract extension with the Giants.
I'll tell you what, he just seems to get better every single year, too. And, you know, he works his butt off. And yesterday was actually the first time I got a chance to watch him throw from behind home plate. And, yeah, it's pretty nasty.
Is it nicer watching from behind home plate than in the batter's box?
Way easier. Way easier. Yeah. That he's developed a couple new pitches over the past couple years, and that cutter slider that he throws is just devastating.
Was
Such
that
sharp break.
He's going to ground one up the middle. Yanazawa dives, stops, throws, picked by Hernandez.
What a play right there. Koki, outstanding up the middle, off-balance throw. That's big time. That's what you want. That'll fire you up right there. So base hit up the middle, never know the hop. Koki coming through, tough hop right there, in between with the slide, gets up, and then landing with the big-time pick over there at the first base to pick him up to end the inning.
Is Koki a surfer? Like, this is a pop-up. Look at this. Whoop.
Koki can do it all, man. Koki can do it all.
That doesn't even physically make sense. He didn't push off anything. He almost levitated. I want to see that replay again. You can see the smile at the end, too. It literally looks like he levitated. Look at this. Here we go. Koki. And all of a sudden, he's just up.
He's up. He's up. He's ready to go. He does some pretty athletic things on the baseball field and off the baseball field. His stretching program is pretty elite.
Well, this is my favorite kind of baseball game, a low-scoring pitcher's duel that has some good defense. We've seen a play at the plate. We've seen a nice play from Garbella. We've seen Koki Yanazawa. We've seen a team get out of a bases-loaded jam. It's the exciting kind of baseball games where there's a lot of action on the base pass, yet teams aren't scoring, but everything just seems so much more valuable when those do happen.
Clean baseball. That's what it is. I mean, the key to West Torrens' success is playing clean baseball, and they have. And for Henley, they've got a great pitcher on the mound, and they've played clean baseball so far too. So that's what you want to see. And in a game, this is where big moments start to happen, and it'll be exciting from this point on.
Sawada is still on the mound, and we welcome in another commentator to the booth. It's one of Baseball SA's best storytellers who will join us for the middle innings before he's got to write a potential game recap as well. Robert Laidlaw, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Good to join you. It's been a fantastic game so far, hasn't it?
It really has. Robert Laidlaw from Play Ball. He writes up all those recaps from baseball and softball. It's a big day for him because there's so much baseball and softball happening. There's 3 grand finals here at West Beach. There was a softball qualifying final. It's a busy day for you. One of your busier ones.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, part of me thinks, well, if West Torrens win tonight, well, I can rest tomorrow.
Yeah, but you won't because there's the women's grand final. There's a final over at Gawler that you know you'll be involved in. There's a lot going on.
Tell me about it.
Griff Weber leads things off, followed by Jet Clohesi and Luke Travaskis, in a swing and a miss from Weber on Sawada. And I think if you look down the bullpen, there's nobody warming up. Sawada now over 50 pitches. He's going to go as far as he can go.
That's the call. Yeah, I think that's the right call, too. He's throwing strikes. It's 1 2-strike hit that he's given up, and that's the difference in this ball game. So why not ride it out? The guy's getting ahead, and, you know, a couple luck here and there, and I think that he's going to give them depth in this game. So he'll set him up.
Only 21 pitches thrown last night, so it's not going to infringe on that 20 or 125 pitches that you're permitted to throw in a single game.
Yeah, you're right. He's going to battle, and that's the thing. He hasn't shown any signs of falling off. As a matter of fact, like, he's just been getting stronger as the game's going on. His tempo seems good. He's mixing up his looks and his off speed. He's throwing for strikes too, so he's definitely keeping him off balance.
You know, last night, Eric, you asked me about teams that lost game 1 and came back and won the grand final. It's only been done once by Goodwood in 2018 since 2005.
Yeah, crazy.
It is. It is.
It goes to show, I mean, it's hard to win back-to-back games when you're coming from behind and you have to throw. I mean, you have to throw everything you have at this game. It makes tomorrow very tricky.
And often when this happens, the team that wins game 1, they lose a tough one in game 2, but then they have an easier game in game 3 because the losing team in game 1 has to throw everything into winning game 2.
Griff Weber and then Jet Clohesi. You saw that last year. West Torrens won game 1. They lost game 2 in the championship series to Goodwood. They came back and they won in game 3.
Yeah,
grounded over towards third, picked up and fired across the diamond. Jacob Scott makes the play, and the first out retired once again for Sawada.
Yeah, that's big for West Torrens right there, getting the leadoff batter. And with the bottom half of the lineup coming up, if you can keep his pitches down, then he's going to, you know, set the tone here for the next couple innings.
Jet Clohesi steps in. He had the single before he was thrown out at second on a bunt attempt. But Clohesi now has 2 hits in 2 games in a championship series where some of the state's best pitchers are being thrown at you. He's still a teenager, he's still a kid, he's still in high school, but a promising future for him.
Look at his build. He is built to hit the ball. I mean, really, he looks a little bit like that guy at Kensington, Austin Gallagher.
Clohesi again up the middle, but diving over to make a great stop. McGarry couldn't make the throw on the transfer. It would have been miraculous if he could have made that play. I'm probably scoring that an infield hit. That would have been a fantastic play, but Clohesi is 3rd hit of the series.
Yeah, that's a hit right there, and Jet's a gamer, man. I mean, the amount of championships that he's won in the juniors coming up, he shines in these moments, and, you know, having a big finals appearance so far.
You saw him get involved in the Super League this year. It was off the transfer. It would have been a tough throw from Sam McGarry. Luke Travaskis steps in. That pitch rides a little bit up high.
This is very important for Henley to get hits from Jet and even Bully, earlier in the game, because it sort of makes them more competitive with West Torrens batting lineup.
That
West
top
Torrens
1 to 9, yeah.
Yeah, and that base hit was big because if they stay out of a double play here, they're going to be able to turn the lineup over for the next inning as well.
1-1 pitch coming in to Luke Travaskis. He was out on a fielder's choice, or he reached on a fielder's choice last inning. So with a player like Jet Clohessy, he's obviously still in high school. He's got that nice frame. He's now played a full season at the Division I level. How do you go about helping to develop a player like Jet Clohessy? What's his next step in development?
Honestly, the biggest thing is just repetition. And he's come up, and when you play going from playing against your peers to playing against grown men, it's always an adjustment, physically and mentally. But for somebody of his size and his build, defensively behind the plate, he's outstanding. And it just takes time, getting a big body and getting used to getting the ball out front and just having better pitch selection. It just comes with experience.
It's also handy he's hit a home run in Division I, which holds him in good stead because he knows he can do it.
Yeah, he can definitely do it. And it's just consistent reps. And when you face tougher pitching as you get older and face guys that are throwing in the 90s, it's just dealing with those adjustments and know what you have to do.
Swing and a miss. Sawada gets Travaskis to bite. It's the second out. It's an interesting point you make, Gally. You play against your peers. I mean, when you're 15 years old, you're playing against a bunch of other 15-year-olds and 14-year-olds. Sometimes you play against a 16-year-old and you think, wow, that's an intimidating experience. But then you will go up and you'll play in this, and all of a sudden Mitch Neuenborn, who just signed an affiliated contract, is going up against you, who has all those years of experience and pitches in his arsenal. It must be intimidating.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think that's you talk about the 5 tools of a baseball player, right? But the biggest tool is what's between the ears, and it's understanding how to deal with failure and not being too excited when you have your success, and it's learning that consistency and trusting your process and not dwelling too hard on your failures.
Acosta up the middle. It's scooped up by McGarry. He tries to make the transfer to first, and he's just called out. But I think it was a great play from Nico Vanderlyn, and you can see the smile. I think he kind of bailed West Torrens out here.
McGarry with the stick save and Nico with the recovery. So tough hop. I mean, you're trying to keep your body in it, and a little shovel pass over to Nico for the force out.
On the bare hand, you can see him just show it. Be like, hey, I got it. It wasn't in the glove, it was in the right mitt.
Not always pretty, but that's a good photo for him right there.
And with that, we'll go to break. We've played 4. It's a 1-0 game.
Here at Just the Thing Furniture, we offer quality, factory direct furniture at wholesale prices. From wall clocks, prints and lamps to couches, beds, rugs and outdoor furniture. We make furniture affordable, where you save up to 80% on retail, offering you the finest furniture at discount prices. When you buy from us, you won't wait months for your new furniture. Everything you see is ready for immediate delivery, and mention Super League Baseball and we'll deliver it for free. We pride ourselves on customer service, and our team works tirelessly to offer our customers on-trend furniture at heavily discounted prices. Visit our huge warehouse in Beverley, open 7 days a week, or jump online to check out our latest deals at www.justthethingfurniture.com.
Some colorful defensive plays on both teams. We've seen a play at the plate. We've seen a really nice play from shortstop, but a pop-up and a throw across the diamond. We've seen leaps over at second. We've seen some scampers. I like that thing you used, a stick save from Tom McGarry, just blocking the ball, and it kind of pushed it towards Nico Vanderlyn. And either way, a few really nice plays defensively, keeping this a 1-0 game.
And you often get that in grand finals. Grand finals tend to bring that extra effort out on players who, we don't want to be the ones to lose this game, and they all make that extra effort. It's a pleasure to watch it.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We were talking about having a clean game. That wasn't the cleanest of plays, but the result was still clean in the scorebook.
Hey, it goes down as a 4-6 in and out at the end of the day. So whatever works. Yeah. Nate Vanderlinden will lead things off, then Jasper Clark, and then Nick George will see Jordy Gross the third time through. Gross started off by 2 hit batters, a walk, and a hit. The bases were loaded with 2 outs in the first inning for West Torrens. They couldn't score. This one slashed right at Landon Hernandez. Landon Hernandez has made a few nice plays over at first, too.
He has, and that's Jordy using his fielders again. Same sequence right there. First pitch fastball, middle in. Second pitch going to that cutter / slider, getting a ground ball. So Jordy's in a groove right now, and this is what makes him successful is he gets ahead with this fastball, whether it's in or out, and then he uses that cutter and changes speeds on that.
I'm pretty impressed with Landon the way he plays. He knows when he'll use the pitcher to cover first or when he doesn't want the pitcher. He's got such good baseball sense in his fielding. It's really tremendous, isn't it?
You saw that last night with Landon Hernandez as the pitcher as well. He made a really nice play on a heads-up turn to fire off and get the lead runner on a bunt situation that Landon just took away from quick, smart thinking.
And he also took an infield catch.
He did.
So it's he's got a lot of that baseball sense in the field.
Jasper Clark, the second batter, after a quick out, sees the ball over the plate for a first pitch strike. That's somewhere where Jordy Gross seems to have been living on that first pitch strike.
He has, and let's see if he goes to that cutter again. Second pitch, there it is.
Jordy Gross has thrown 68 pitches. 41 of them have been for strikes so far in this game. And you're right, Gross just looks comfortable right now.
Yeah.
You take out the first innings and it would be a lot more impressive.
Yeah, he hasn't allowed a hit since that first inning. 12 batters during that time. Just the 1 hit allowed in the game from Jordy Gross.
Yeah, and like I said, he's got a lot of 2-pitch outs in this game too. This is probably one of the longer at bats he's had in the past couple innings, but he's getting ahead, and his whole pitch arsenal is in effect.
He gets the strikeout, so Jordy Gross with his 3rd K of the day. And West Torrens, who pride themselves on batting 1 to 9, they're 6 to 9 batters right now, a combined 0 for 8. They'll be looking for a spark at that bottom.
It's just tough when he's throwing strikes with all pitches to really know what to sit on. I mean, just right there in that sequence, he went first pitch fastball away, strike, slider a little bit low and away, change up in the dirt, went back to the slider, and then humped up on the fastball up and away. So it's really tough as a hitter to know what's going to be coming at that stage.
Nick George walked in his first time up. Quick 2 outs on the board here in the 5th inning. Hard to believe West Torrens have left the bases loaded 3 times in this two-game series so far.
He was hit by a pitch in the first innings.
He was, yeah, that's right. He was hit by pitch, that's right, and he was caught stealing. He comes back with a strike. You haven't seen Jordy Gross fall behind 2-0 very often.
You know, when George getting thrown out at second trying to steal the base, it allows the psychology of okay, we better not steal anymore. It's if he's successful, West Torrens will be running the game more, I would suggest.
Well, first I got to get a base runner on to even try to do that, which is Jordy Gross has taken away. But you're exactly right, in another breaking ball that lands in the strike zone.
He's on. That's the ability to change speeds with that pitch right there. So he can throw that harder like a cutter, and then he can take some off with a little bit more break and make it a slider.
So in Super League a couple years ago, obviously there was that 30 pitch limit that you had per outing. And what Jordy Gross go into, the third 3 and something?
I think he might have went into the
4th. It was like 4 1/3.
Yeah, he just had so many quick pitch outs. But that's the thing. It's everything looks good, and then it disappears, and then the pitches that don't look good come right back over the middle. So he keeps you off balance.
Swing and a miss, and Jordy Gross is fired up walking off the mound.
Wow.
Back-to-back strikeouts.
He let that one go. That would have been his hardest pitch of the day by far. But he's very confident man right now, so good on him.
Jordy Gross altered his mechanics ever so slightly a couple seasons ago. He wasn't really landing fastballs anywhere close to being over 80, but a lot of work with Josh Spence in particular, analyzing his throwing motions, his mechanics, basically telling him, you're a good pitcher, man, and work at it. And he added a little bit of velo across the board, and that helped out big time.
Yeah, he did. There was a lot of stuff he did in the wintertime with Josh Spence. He had a program where he was going down to Adelaide Baseball Club, and they took a lot of video, did a lot of metrics, and he got his velo and his spin on everything, and it's really separated him and turned him into a big time pitcher and a big time starter in this league.
Back to the top of the lineup. This will be the third time through facing Sawada, the Japanese pitcher. He's allowed just the 1 run. He got the first 2 outs of the game, and then it was a walk to Garbella, a hit to Hernandez, and Liam Bull had the RBI, and that's been about it. They've had base runners in every inning so far. The closest they came again was the 3rd when Landon Hernandez was tagged out on home on a nice throw from Nico Vanderlinden, and Rams have threatened a little bit more, but it's been nothing overly daunting, I suppose, on the infield.
And the way Geordie's pitching, sort of that 1 run might just hold up, but you don't want to take a chance. You want some insurance.
And that's the thing. It's like I said, it's been clean, good baseball so far, and this is what storybook endings are made of: is having moments come up like this, and you have to earn them as opposed to mistakes being made. So awesome game to be a part of.
Third time through, Koki Yanazawa leads things off. He's 0 for 2 on the afternoon. He's 1 for 6 combined in the championship series so far. Bit of an adjustment, too, for these players. Gally, how much do you make of some of these guys? They haven't played under lights all season long, and now you go to the championship series. You're playing 3 games in 3 days. You're playing under lights on the first 2. It is a bit of an adjustment as a player. It's
a bit of an adjustment, but I think the biggest adjustment is going from playing on club fields to then coming to an actual professional field. Particularly, I'm one to talk about my club. It's a little bit shorter down the right field line than it is here at West Beach.
Yanazawa to right field, easily playable for Nathan Vanderlyn, 1 down.
You saw yesterday, Garabella at second base, he couldn't judge the ball because of the dirt to the grass. They don't have that in club ball.
Yeah, you're 100% right about that. All grass infields and then going to a dirt infield. The fences are a little bit longer, playing under lights, a little bit bigger fence. So it's a different game strategically.
It's an adjustment, isn't it?
It definitely is adjustment. And I saw some of those balls hit last night. There'd be more than 1 home run, I think, on some club fields for sure.
Oh, we spoke about that too, didn't we? The wind here, and they're not used to that. They're not used to those types of conditions in club ball. They will get it occasionally, but here at West Beach, it's like this all the time.
Yeah.
Jack Partington up to bat. And it is interesting, you watch the teams and how they acted pregame, and today, Henley&Grange noticeably took a lot more ground balls than they did fly balls in the outfield in the allotted time before the game. Hard hit ball to third, and that squeaks through, and it gets all the way to the wall. Partington is flying around first. He'll get to second, and Partington is going to have a look at 3, and now he's going to make the go. Partington slided in there safely.
Wow. The pitcher was there. He just bobbled it. Pardo read the overthrow, but Sawada was right behind, and unfortunately for West Torrens, he just bobbled the ball. But, man, that was a quick home to third right there. So that's the hop that you're talking about on the dirt infield. He was expecting it to come up, stayed down, and Pardo was on his horse all the way through.
But the key part of that play was on the cutoff. Pardo hesitated a little bit. He read this part well.
And then there's the overthrow, and the pitcher was right there, and he just tried to get rid of it a little bit too quickly and just fumbled the transfer.
We spoke about that yesterday with Pardo, that he's an excitement machine, and he takes those chances. Sometimes they don't come off, but sometimes they do. And in this case, it did. And this could be a very good scoring opportunity for them.
Well, you have Giovanni Garbella, who's got 51 RBIs.
I'm walking him right here. I'm setting up the double play.
And you're taking your chances with Landon? I mean,
it's more for the double play, because I think that if you throw to him right here, you got to take the infield in, and I just think that he's such a good hitter, particularly going through third time through. Like he's got a good idea of what he's going to throw.
Well, this is an interesting thing that happens only at a couple of clubs in the state, and you're one of them, where you have a coach of the team that's also playing in the infield. You would do it, but Tyrone Hambley in this situation too. Are you calling sometimes guys in so you yourself can have a little bit of a think about your situation?
You are, and I think that it was more of a discussion to let the pitcher know, like, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is why we're doing it. We want to approach this hitter in this way so that we can try to entice a ground ball to try to get a double play.
What about an attempted steal here and get caught in a trap play to score the run? Is that a possibility here?
Probably not with 1 out. I mean, Landon's been playing for a pretty long time, because from Henley's standpoint, like, 1-run lead is tough, and even if you score another run, 2 runs is still a bloop and a blast away. I'm looking to pick up both of these runners on the base pass.
A fly ball scores a run, and runs are at a premium in this game. But it is an interesting equation, and you see a big swing there because you do have 2 speedy guys on the corners right now.
Yeah, you do. That's a potential, especially if you get into 2 outs or a 2-strike situation. But right here, this is a hitter that's trying to stay out of a double play and hit a sac fly, and the pitcher is trying to entice a ground ball to get a double play to get out of the inning.
Both teams yesterday showed that they're willing to try stuff. The amount of bunts they did. The thing is, who would be expecting the double still attempt? It could work.
It could work. 2 outs could be the time for it as well, but it looks like Landon Hernandez is going to be swinging away. It's a 1-1 count. 1 out and a 1-3 split. Runner is going. They're going to hold the run, and now the double play ball out of effect, and that's exactly what you're talking about, Robert Laidlaw. It's 2 runners in scoring position now.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever going to throw that ball. Pardo's too quick at the base. Now it's an interesting decision because, you do have to bring the infield in here. They're going to keep Nico halfway for the big hitting Landon up there. And now as a pitcher, it's either corners or balls. You're not giving him anything fat over the plate here.
Takes the double play away, so you can score on a ground ball now.
Big pitch coming up to a very good hitter in Landon Hernandez. Hernandez swings on one outside and a big fist pump from Sawada. That's a huge strikeout from the Japanese ace.
That's a massive pitch, and there's the missing off the plate. So he really gassed up on that one. Looked like he was going to throw a fastball away and got him to expand. And, Landon probably expanded there because his job is just to put the ball in play. And sometimes when you have that mindset of just making contact, it falls a little wayside, unfortunately.
Well, Liam Bull, the lifetime Ram from T-ball to championship series. He had the RBI with 2 outs in the first inning to put the Rams up 1-0, and he'll flare one foul here. He had the RBI last night.
And getting that RBI early will give him confidence he can do it. So he's going to be up there trying to do the same thing again, to repeat it. So he's not going to have any doubts about himself. He's going to get in there and give it a go.
Bullies won championships at every level. He's going to poke one to the left side. A good pickup from Vanderlinden, and he couldn't make the decision of where he wants to go, and a run will score. It's a second RBI for Liam Bull, and a 2-0 lead for Henley&Grange.
Big-time hit right there. There was no way that Vanderlinden was going to throw him out with the speedy Bull, so putting it in play. And look, he took a big swing on the first pitch, just missed it, and then made an adjustment, got bat on ball, and drove the runner in. That's what it takes in these games.
So do you still second now?
It's a 2-0 game.
Tough call. I think you let him hit in the first couple pitches, and then, you'd see it a little bit later in the bat. But I think you're throwing through on this one for sure.
2-0 runner on first and third. Liam Bull has 2 RBIs. He's now at 3 RBIs for the series. 1 came off a bunt, 1 came off a ground ball to short, and 1 came off a hit to opposite field. Bull is scoring runs in different ways right now.
A big runtime machine. And that's the thing. He's stepping up, and Bully is he plays so calm and confident that the moment doesn't get too big. He kind of always seems to take what's been given to him.
Henley had the advantage with the running game at the moment. The fact that George was thrown out, Henley have taken advantage of a stolen base and taken an extra base. So there's a slight momentum with Henley now with the speed game.
Well, it all started with Jack Partington reaching third on that hit that just lined down the line all the way, rattled up against the wall in foul territory, and the speed of Partington got them to third. It was speed that has created this run. Weber fouls one off to the right side.
You're definitely right, and that's baseball. I mean, that's a game of inches right there. The ball gets under Scotty's glove, but, Sawada was there, and the speed just made him try to make a decision that was a little too quick, and he bobbled that. But if he comes up with that cleanly, I think he's got Pardo out at third. So, yeah, you're definitely right. The speed has taken over for this inning.
Runner is going, and Sawada will get him caught in a trap play. The run is scored. It's a 3-0 game, and there is that trap play that you were talking about. Liam Bull called out, and that may as well be an RBI to Liam Bull. Bolting from first base, forcing the trap play. The run scores, and all of a sudden it's a 3-0 game.
Hey, you called it, Rob. You called it, Rob. That's big time insurance run. So it caught him unexpected right there, and yeah.
But the only reason they tried it is because the running game's working for them, the momentum. And it's sort of you've got to try stuff like this. They need to win this game.
Well, Liam Bull, how impressed are you there? He gave himself up, right? He ran halfway down. He didn't try to keep bolting over to third. I don't know if we'll have the replay of Liam Bull running there. It wasn't like he was trying to force an issue. He was giving himself up. He knew he was going to get caught.
As soon as he was off, as soon as the pitcher looked at him, he scooted home from third base.
And it was going to be a free base because had they just held the ball, well, then there would have been a runner on second and third, and it still would have been a 2-0 game. So if you're Sawada, should you have just held on to the ball right there?
Well, I think if you watch the replay, he steps off, he looks directly at third, but as soon as he turns his back, that's as soon as Gio takes off for home. So as soon as that ball was given up, they didn't really have a chance at home.
The timing was perfect. Giovanni, he just ran the moment he had to run. As soon as that ball left the pitcher's hand to go to second base, he was off. And when Sam got the ball, he looked at home, but he realised there's no chance. And it was almost like, what can I do? We need to now just concentrate on getting out because they had to give the run up.
Plays like that, such a great example of how baseball is such an individual game, but it works beautifully when you work as a team. And how much coordination did that take between runner at first, runner at third, the timing of when the runner touches home, because that was important too, is Bull couldn't get out too quickly, because if you got out before the run touched home plate, well then it's still a 2-0 game and it's a wasted runner.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You're just trying to stay in the rundown as long as you can to give your runner at third a chance to go, and the timing was perfect there. So the pitchers checked the runner at third, but as soon as he turned his back, gave up the ball, Gio was off.
And if you're Jordy Gross, how does your mindset as a pitcher, does it change at all here when it's a 1-0 game and there's no margin for error? Does it change now that it's a 3-0 lead?
I know Jordy, he's licking his lips right here. This is in Jordy's mind, this is all the runs that he needs to finish this game out. So he's been aggressive, he's on, and for him, he's confident as anyone could be right now.
So it's almost saying, give me a small margin for error. I don't need a big one. Just give me a little bit of one.
Yeah, the Rooster is looking to finish this game out. So he's on. He's going to be confident. And, when you just have that little extra run of insurance, it gives you that little leeway where you don't get too pressed with having one base runner on.
He's built a foundation for the pitching. I mean, he is pitching so well at the moment. He's building the confidence as he's going, and sort of those runs will make him feel almost invincible. So he's going to keep pitching, knowing he's got a good lead.
Jacob Scott leading things off. He takes the pitch. That strike lands, so it's a 2-1 count. Scott, McGarry, and McGarry, if there's a part of the lineup that West Torrens would like up to try to issue a response, this is it. And it's going to be grounded to third, charging on his Bull. Bull, transfer across the diamond. Oh, it was right there. He couldn't make the play. Bull made a great barehanded grab earlier in the game. He's been unbelievable. I think, is Hernandez asking for... Oh, I just don't think he brought it in.
I think he might have hit the line.
I think he might be asking for an interference of being inside the line, but that looked like that throw was pretty on line. I'll have to see the replay of where the drop was, but yeah, just off, just up the line.
Did the runner hit the glove? Did the runner hit?
I think it hit all at the same time. Yeah, I think he made contact with him for sure.
I mean, I think if there was a bigger issue with that play, Landon Hernandez probably would have given a bigger reaction. He's not usually one of the guys that makes a big thing out of a little thing. If it was there, it would have been there, and Landon would have let him know.
Yeah, I think in the regular season, you come off and try to tag him. In the postseason, you're putting your body on the line to make the play. So... yeah, he held it. I think there was a little contact there, but trying to get that out.
How's that going to be scored? Infield hit?
No.
Or a throwing error?
It'll be either a throwing error or a error on Landon, depending on how the score is set. Definitely won't be a hit.
Tough play for Liam Bull. Bull made a great barehanded play earlier. He has 2 RBIs in the game and was the player in the rundown through 5 1/3 innings. Probably Liam Bull, the MVP of this game so far.
The ball was over there to get an out, so there's an error. But who gets the error, I'm not sure.
Well, luckily you have the award-winning scorer of the year that is on the case right now, and ends a Henty up in the scoreboard or in the score boot. Tom McGarry standing in right now. He's got a base runner, so for the first time since the first inning, there's a leadoff runner aboard. They had a base runner in the third, but it was with 2 outs, and then that was the only time they've had a base runner since the first. Just 1 hit allowed from Jordy Gross. That came back in the first inning. He's been rolling, and now the count is full to a guy that's a really tricky out in Tom McGarry. And now the response has been start to be at least talked about from Wes Torrens.
Close pitch right there. That was a heck of an at-bat by McGarry to not chase anything down there. But this is exactly what Wes Torrens needs. They need a response right here. If Henley can get out of this, then it's going to be a tough battle for Wes Torrens. But momentum-wise, Henley's got everything on their side, and to have the first 2 runners of the inning on is very big for the middle part of their lineup.
Tom McGarry now has 5 walks this weekend.
Sam, he's a very dangerous and important batter for Wes Torrens and for Henley right now, because if he's an out, I think Henley should be able to get out of the innings with little damage. And if he hits a home run, the ball game's tied up.
I think the strategy right here is Sam's playing off of what Bully's doing, because Bully was in the shift, but he's now moved in to try to take that bunt away.
Fouled straight back.
Sam's usually swinging in these at-bats, but he was checking Bully there to see if that was open, because that would have been a free base hit. But with Bully in, you're definitely swinging here, trying to keep those runners moving.
Big moment in the ball game. Wes Torrens finally have a pair of base runners. Ever since they pressured with 2 outs in the first, they really haven't got anything going. And now they got a 1-1 count. This is the 3rd time through versus Jordy Gross. Can they seize some momentum? 1-1 count. Gross to opposite field. It is cutting, and it will fall in front of Travaskis. It'll load the bases. Jacob Scott couldn't be too aggressive, because if that ball was caught, well, he would have been in no man's land, and now it's bases loaded, no outs.
Yeah, it's a good pitch by Jordy. He threw a couple pitches inside, got him looking in there, and got Sam to just fight it off, but good piece of hitting to stay on that.
Just the 2nd hit of the game, and the first one since the first inning.
Got a pinch runner now for McGarry at first base.
So Sam McGarry being taken out of the game?
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to put some speed on first base. And
yeah, they're going. Is that Shane Allen? No. 82?
Yep.
We'll get a look at the first baseman. So it's a big call. I mean, it's here in the 6th inning. Obviously an important run. It represents the tying run. You don't want to leave those opportunities by the wayside in a game where runs are at a premium, but the risk is Sam McGarry obviously taken out of the game.
And none out. Loaded bases.
Oof. Even though it's the 6th inning, you can sense the urgency from both of the managers. If this is the regular season, that's probably not happening.
Yeah, I mean, every run is at a premium right now, and to have this many base runners and to drive Jordy's pitch count is really big. And look, you got a couple outs to play with right here, so they're trying to play for that inning.
So Shane Allen into the ball game, and quickly ahead 0-2 versus Tyrone Hambley. This is an entertaining baseball game. Both managers making some very intriguing strategic decisions. Aggressive sending, aggressive on the base running. Check swing, did he go? He did not go.
How close was that?
That's tough to lay off of. In that location right over the middle of the plate and down is a very tough pitch to lay off of.
They say baseball's a game of inches. There you go. That was inches, wasn't it?
Hambley fouls one away, stays alive in the at-bat.
He's a tough out, Hambley. I mean, he sort of come through so many times when West Torrens need him.
Allen standing at first, Tom McGarry at second, Jacob Scott at third. West Torrens chasing 3. And Tyrone Hambley just lays off a good pitch from Jordy Gross.
Those are very tough to lay off. Very enticing pitches, so it'll be interesting to see what Jordy goes with right here.
2-2 count. Hambly fouls it off himself. Bit of a baseball hush coming in, a very good crowd. Both of the decks here are packed out. Those hold about 80 people each. The grandstands, healthy number of people. There'll be a few hundred people down here taking this one in. All down in the bar down the right field line. Some kids out on the hill. A big day here. West Torrens beat Henley&Grange earlier this afternoon in the Division II Grand Final. They're looking to win the double tonight. Hambly, bases loaded, nobody out. Big spot. Gross delivers. And now the count is full. What an at-bat from Tyrone Hambly.
This is a huge pitch in the context of the game right here.
What are you throwing?
Oof, I'm going with my best pitch. I'm going fastball. He's been running up there well.
Outside, and it's a 3-1 game.
What an at-bat. What an at-bat.
You know, West Torrens won the Divi 2 Grand Final 9-6. They were 9-1 up in the top of the ninth, and Henley really fought back with 5 runs. But West Torrens
with 2 outs, yeah.
Yeah.
So Tyrone Hambly, he was behind early in that count, but he fouled a few away, laid off a couple enticing pitches, and then he forced Jordy Gross to miss, and now it's still bases loaded, but now the go-ahead run is aboard. Tyrone Hambly is there. He's already used the pinch runner with Shane Allen.
Yeah, that's in that situation that it's tough for a pitcher because you get 0-2 and you start thinking ahead, right? Like you're putting in your head, okay, I'm going to get a strikeout here, and that's going to allow me to get a double play to get out of this inning. And unfortunately, it was just a little bit too fine, and then fell back behind in the count, and Tyrone ended up winning that at bat. That's just two good players competing, and you know, Bones came out on top.
Well, now the bottom of the lineup for West Torrens, which was so good last year in the championship series, so good in the finals so far this year, but tonight a combined 0 for 8. They're going to have a couple cracks at this to try to tie the game or take the lead for West Torrens, and it starts with Nico Vanderlyn, and 0 for 4 last night, 0 for 2 tonight. He did have a sac fly for an RBI. What can Nico do here? And that's a big first pitch strike from Jordy Gross.
Great pitch right there, right on the corner. That's a heck of a response. Pitcher's pitch right there.
Win again, and he's ahead 0-2, Jordy Gross, and he's quick on the release as well.
This is huge for Nico right here because you just, nobody out, you just got to put the ball in play to try to get that runner in from third.
To right field, and it's a base hit. 1 run is scored. Allen is held up at third. Hambly to second. The train keeps rolling. It's a 3-2 game.
What a piece of hitting. That was incredible right there. He tries to go with the fastball up, and Nico fights it off into right field. 0-2 pitch. You're just battling right there as a hitter, and to fight one off to drive a run in, that was just an unbelievable piece of hitting.
And now a very dangerous bat in Mitch Neuenborn comes to the plate. Henley&Grange had moments ago just taken a 3-0 lead. Jordy Gross was rolling, but here an error, a walk, a hit, a walk, and a hit. No outs so far. Bases still loaded and 2 runs. It's the perfect formula for a big inning. And it's so West Torrens, small ball, nothing huge, but just enough in contributions from everyone.
That's it. You go from 0-2 to drawing a walk and then having an 0-2 RBI hit. That sums up the year. A couple of walks, couple of base hits the other way. That's their brand of baseball. They couldn't have done it any better.
They've turned the whole momentum, haven't they? It's amazing the importance momentum plays in a baseball game.
For the 3rd straight at bat, it's 0-2.
And a little bit different sequence of how he got to 0-2. So he went breaking ball, and then he's now trying to come back in. So it'll be interesting to see how he tries to put him away here.
Swing and a miss, but the ball is in the dirt. Runner won't go. They'll get the force out at home. It was a drop 3rd strike, so it doesn't matter. He couldn't run anyways. When it was bases loaded, it doesn't matter. Neuenborn's just out.
That is huge right there because, look, 3-pitch strikeout. Now you're 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning and Henley holding the lead.
Wow, how this game has just turned in a few different ways. It's the 5th strikeout of the day for Jordy Gross, by the way, who's still only allowed 3 hits in this game.
And how big was that strikeout?
Those breaking balls were nasty. I mean, those were some of the best pitches he threw all day.
Nate van der Linden, he was the MVP of the 2016 championship that West Torrens won because he delivered a couple big 2-out hits, including one in the deciding game. Now he's got 2 runners in scoring position.
In that series in 2016 that West Torrens won, they won the first game on a walk-off bloop single by Ryan Muggleton. And then in the deciding game, they won 5-4. Muggleton hit the deciding home run in the bottom of the 8th. So, and they were the only 2 hits Muggleton got for the series.
And they were big ones. Van der Linden looking for a big one right here. He was the MVP of that series. 1-2 count.
He's got him set up right here.
And he gets him on the edge. Back-to-back strikeouts from Jordy Gross. And now all of a sudden he's 1 out away.
There's the momentum. He went with a couple high fastballs, and you knew he was trying to replicate that strikeout with the slider in the dirt that he threw to Neuenborn, and executed a perfectly thrown backdoor slider to get him looking right there. That's just another quality pitch. And you can see that he's not phased at all by this moment. He's sped up.
Yeah, he was quick to attack Jasper Clark here. The pitch on the outside, the number 9 hitter, 0 for 2 on the day.
And isn't that the beauty of baseball? Momentum with Henley, momentum with West Torrens. Back to Henley. Oh, wow, what a game.
This is just checked. It's
That's
in foul
playable.
territory. Hernandez makes the play, and they get out of the bases loaded jam with the lead. West Torrens walking out pumped up. Their fans are on their feet.
That is amazing right there. Look, as a pitcher, you get into a tough situation. Jordy wanted the ball. He attacked, he got the strikeout, he got a second strikeout, and he went right after and got out of that bases loaded jam, nobody out. You're holding a 1-run lead, and he just stepped his game up. That's the type of player that he is.
In the last 2 games now, in the last 15 innings, West Torrens have left the bases loaded 4 different times now. They've left runs on the board, but if you bring 8 runners or 8 batters to the plate in an inning, you'd be hoping that you would score more than 2 runs. So I don't know who's feeling better going into the dugout. On one hand, West Torrens, they were down 3-0 at the start. They scored 2. It's now a 1-run game. They're in striking distance. On the other hand, Henley&Grange could say, wow, that could have been a whole lot worse.
Look, that's the mental battle that we're talking about. I mean, Jordy was unfazed. He had a 3-run lead. He had the bases loaded. He let up 2 runs with nobody out. And instead of letting it get to him, he just got nastier. And he got out of that situation. Strikeout, pop out. So for West Torrens, look, you got to take that as a win. You scored 2 runs, but you just can't let that situation of either tying the game or saying, oh, what if, or, you know, we should be tied or we should be ahead right here. Turn the page. You had a great inning right there. You put yourself within striking distance and take that momentum.
The other micro win in there is Jordy Gross had to use 25 pitches in that inning, so he's now at 110 for the game. 125 is the limit, which means Jordy Gross probably has 1 more inning left in him, if that at all, which means they got to push to the bullpen, which is another little win for West Torrens, knowing that they might have just used a nice inning to chase and eat up the pitch count.
Yeah, you do. And on top of that, you got the top part of the lineup coming up for West Torrens. So that's exactly who you want, especially if you're going to have 15 pitches left for Jordy and, you know, if it is a new reliever that's coming into the ballgame.
Griff Weber fouls this one away. Just an intriguing contest from the start in this one. Sawada, by the way, that was pitch number 85 for him. Both these pitchers at an interesting point. Entering the 6th inning, it was 85 pitches for Gross, 84 pitches for Sawada, and it was a 3-0 game, and now it's just 1 run between them.
And the other thing to put into context is the response coming back from Sawada.
And another strikeout.
A 3-pitch strikeout after he would have been sitting on the bench for a good 15 minutes as well.
Wow.
So you keep going through that, and everybody thinks about the inning that you had defensively out there, but nobody talks about the pitcher that has to go back out, and especially being cold. And for him to go out boom, 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 that's exactly what you want to see.
Jack Classley's up now. He's been on twice with 2 hits. Can he make it 3?
It's been a nice little resume for the kid. He's now 3 for 6 in the grand final series. He's done his job. One of South Australia's promising players.
Let's say he's doing his job. He's still got more.
There's a quick pitch.
And he gets set pretty quickly right here, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's ready to go. Well, that's what he did. He didn't even come set that last one. It went right to his glove and went. Now here's the slow pause.
What as a batter can you do to try to disrupt the tempo of the pitcher?
I think it's more or less because he does sometimes take a while. It's just when you step into the box, you just have to have that scouting report to be able to know that he can do that. So get your preparation ready to go when he does come at you like that.
And that pitch down low. We haven't seen the ethos yet today, have we? We saw it yesterday.
He's been saving it.
Clohessy knocks one to left field. Does it get down? It does. And Jet Clohessy, the kid is 3 for 3 in game 2, and you think he's pumped up?
He's a gamer, man. Big-time player in big games. So happy for him. And another great at bat. Didn't try to do too much, and he took an inside pitch that he went the other way with. That's a great piece of hitting.
I must ask, why didn't George come in for the dive? Did he not pick it up?
With one out, I think it's a little bit of a risk because if it gets past him and he gets to second base, now you got a runner in scoring position where you can probably try to go turn double play.
It wasn't a hard hit ball, though.
Also, probably the part of the lineup. You've got the 8-9 batters coming up. Clohessy, while he's having a great game, he's not the quickest player in the world. You don't want him in scoring position, though, either way. Travaskis lays off the pitch. It's a 1-1 count.
Maybe bunt him.
Henley scored 2 in the last inning. Liam Bowe with an RBI, and then they scored on a trap play to make it 3-0 before 2 runs issued in response. Runner is going.
Hit and run.
This is grounded over towards short.
He's safe.
So the double play ball negated, and he's called safe at first. How's the run from Luke Travaskis? And it's runners on first and second.
That speed, that extra hop, waiting back on that, he was safe right away. He's a fast player, and it's tough as a fielder because you're getting that hop right at the chest, but with the speed of Luke, you got to try to come get that ball so you got time to get him out. And with his speed, he beats that play, bang, bang.
Yeah, Gally, as soon as that ball popped up, you literally said, it's safe.
Safe. Yeah. Yeah, that high hop, he waited back on it. You just didn't have a chance. Luke is a very speedy player, and, he did a heck of a job there. And that's exactly what you need to do for Henley. He stays out of the double play. Top half of the lineup coming up next inning.
Phil Acosta, first pitch swing. They got to be careful. Diving back is Clohessy. They thought they had the double play. By the way, there's been defensive changes. It's Nathan Vanderlinden who's moved in to play second base now.
That was an unbelievable transfer. Look at how quick he gets rid of this. Jets didn't even do the wrong thing. He froze and actually went back a little bit. That was a heck of a play. Oh, bang, bang.
How many times do you think Nico and Nate have made that transfer or just playing catch or toss together in their lifetime?
That was very quick. I didn't think there was going to be a play there, but that transfer was elite.
First pitch swing from Koki Yanazawa.
Now's the time for him to shine because he just hasn't done anything through the grand final games, has he?
He's 0 for 3. He's 1 for 7 combined, but yeah.
That couldn't have been any more bang bang.
How's the dive, though, from Jet Clohessy?
He didn't do it wrong. He was right there. I mean, that was just lightning fast hands.
Now, the two Vanderlinden brothers have played a lot of baseball together. Nate moved from right field into second base. That's his value as a player, is he can play right, center, left, short, second. I'm sure he can play first if you wanted him to. He can play third if you want him. I'm sure he might pitch this game. Finds the strike zone.
Big pitch coming up right here. Might be time for that ephus.
Oh, I would like to see that.
Backdoor curveball.
Sawada with 95 pitches so far on the day, so he should have another inning after this, at least. Is that ephus coming now? No. Not even close.
Nope. Fastball up.
How many pitches did he have last night?
He had only 21 pitches last night, so he's good for the 125 today. 150 is the maximum you can throw over the weekend, but once you throw 60, you have to have 2 days rest. So a bit of strategy have to be employed. This is the only time you play 3 games in 3 days in the entire season of the Hilltop Office Supplies State League. Koki Yanazawa, 1-2 count. Knocks it over towards third. It's blocked by Jacob Scott, and the bases will be loaded.
Tough hop right there. That's a great at-bat to put that ball in play, and yeah, he seemed to be right on it and just unfortunately hit the lip. But fortunately for West Torrens, that ball didn't get through. He still kept it in the infield, but yeah, you could see that hop came up and hit him in the shoulder.
You look at both those plays, the one to shortstop where he waited on it, and that play there, if they're playing on at Lockleys or they're playing at West Beach, it's a different ball game. They'll charge it at shortstop. He'll pick that up easier.
Yep, that's a different dynamic of the field. So your instincts are a little bit different when you go from a field like that to this. And, you know, baseball's a game of inches.
Jack Partington, he had that triple that started the 2-out rally in the 5th inning that scored 2 runs. He's an energy player, Partington. He struck out twice, and he's got that triple.
And this is a similar situation Partington's coming up in where he had in the first round of the finals, where bases loaded in a 1-run ball game and was able to hit a grand slam. So he's looking to come up big in this situation.
Partington to right field. It's in foul territory. Hambley having a look. That goes foul. So he's behind 0-2. He's been fooled twice from Sawada already, who's now only be right around 100 pitches, just over. And how packed is that burrito bowl looking over there?
Love to see it. Great energy in tonight's ball game, and couldn't give the fans any better game. This has been awesome so far.
Chance of Pardo coming down the right field line, you can hear. Pardo stays alive and fouls one back.
It's been an interesting sequence. He's went 3 fastballs up and then just hung the breaking ball up there. So, you know, for Pardo, he's taken some good swings on it. It'll be interesting to see what he comes back with here in this situation. But picking up some insurance runs is going to be big.
Well, Partington would send the crowd into a frenzy if he can deliver here. Partington to right field, having to charge on is Allen. Will it drop? And it falls! 1 run is scored. 2 runs have scored. Runner will hold at 3. Jack Partington's brought home 2.
That's a big-time clip right there. He gets that ball to fall. He wins the at-bat and scores an extra 2 insurance runs. Big-time bat by a big-time player. That was amazing. That's a tough read for the fielders. And look, finds the right place. And, you know, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Partington got the rally started in the last inning, and he finishes the rally here.
Unbelievable. That is huge for Henley&Grange. And, you know, the inning's not done yet. So this is another situation with 2 outs, and you got 2 speedy runners on first and third. Look to have him in motion to the next 2.
That's where the advantage is of having 2 outs in a situation like that. If it's just 1 out, the runners are holding up, and you probably only score 1 run, but the runners had gone right away. Now Partington, who is going to always have a free base, knowing that somebody was at third, but 2 runners in scoring position, and the RBI machine in Giovanni Garbella, who hasn't been out in this game. In fact, he's only been out once in this whole championship series. Garbella 1 for 2 with 2 walks and an RBI last night. Tonight, he is 1 for 1 with 2 walks and 2 runs.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, it's okay.
Pretty good, pretty good. Big-time player, man. So
they have taken the bat out of his hands, though, most of this series. But right now, he has a free swing. Although, how fine are you pitching him, knowing there is at least a free base that he can go to? It's tough because Landon's there.
It's a tough call. I mean, I'm still trying to be pretty fine here. But if he does fall ahead, I mean, look at him trying to mix some things up.
2-1 count to Garbella. There's that off-speed galley.
There's the eephus.
The eephus has appeared, and it came in a big situation. 2-2 count.
That's the right time. I mean, in that situation, you could go with any pitch, and nobody was expecting that one right there.
Garbella fouls one away, 2-2 count still.
That slow pitch is magic, isn't it?
The Eagfist.
It's almost a free strike in that situation. You're looking for 2 pitches, and this one just comes out of nowhere. That was a big-time play, and then he just threw a max effort fastball right by Gio, so he's timed that up, and good battle right here.
Knocked foul again. The emotional swings from both sides of the ballpark. On the left side, West Torrens in blue and gold, and then the dark red, the burgundy on the right side of Henley&Grange has been... You can feel the mood shifting over the last half hour or so of this compelling game.
Yeah, it's went from a quiet nail-biter game to packed with emotion.
Tries to go upstairs. Sawada liked it. It's a full count.
Love it. He wanted that pitch.
Well, this is a huge moment for West Torrens. They cannot afford to fall behind more than 3 runs at this stage of the game. Trying to keep it close. Garbella on the ground. Jacob Scott blocks the play. Partington getting the wave around. 2 runs are going to score, and it's a 5-run lead for Henley&Grange.
Wow, that's the insurance you need right there. And Sawada, he executed a pitch right there, but Gio coming up big and just outstretched arms of Scotty over there, and man, did Henley need that. That's some more breathing room for him.
Well, all with 2 outs. Henley has just scored 4 runs, and think they were almost out of the inning when Jet Clohessy had to dive back on the quick flip from the Vanderlindens in a slightly different universe, separated by only a centimeter. We're probably watching West Torrens pitch or hit right now, and it's a 3-2 ball game, and now Henley&Grange have a 5-run lead.
That's it. Game of inches. I mean, you have that play at second base, you have the hop to Scotty, and, you know, even the ball that fell down in the corner, man, that's baseball, and, you know, sometimes it's better to be lucky than it is to be good.
West Torrens had 8 batters up in the last inning, and they only scored 2. They've left the bases loaded 4 times in this series so far. Henley, this is their 8th batter in the inning, and they've already scored 4 runs. Sometimes it's about what you make of the opportunities.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and they're making the most of their opportunities here, so... they've got all the momentum on their side right here, and, you know, it's just about a response back in the next half inning.
Partington using his wheels to score a run. What can Hernandez do now with Garbella at first? And there he goes. And Hernandez rips one to center field, and that's going to rattle all the way up to the wall. Garbella getting the wave around home. Here comes the relay. There'll be a play at the plate. The throw is high and wide, and Garbella scores all the way from first.
That ball was hit hard. What a swing by Landon. See, center fielder just didn't get a great read on it. It was hit a lot harder than expected. He came in, had to go back, but that's an aggressive send. And, you know, same thing. Gio was, as soon as that ball was hit, he was going. So
surely they're going to change the pitcher.
Well, he'll be close to the pitch count anyways, but there is an arm there. But now it becomes, what pitcher do you use? Because this game was so tight up until literally minutes ago, and now it's a 6-run lead where Tyrone Hambley probably wasn't thinking about tomorrow even half an hour ago, but I guarantee you he's starting to think about tomorrow now. That doesn't mean he's conceded this game at all, but you do have to, as a manager. Am I wrong in saying that? As a manager, you now have to start to think, okay, well, we could have a game 3 in play.
yeah, you're 100% right. That's the tough thing when you're on the field playing as well as making those coaches' decisions, because at no point do you ever want to stop playing, but this is where, you know, you got to plan and make preparations for that.
But really, you have to plan for it even before game 1, because you can't be arrogant thinking we're going to win in 2 because you're set to foul. So he would have had his plan, and I reckon what he'll do, he'll use someone like Snellgrove or someone like that to come in, eat some innings up.
An 8-2 game right now. 6 runs scored in the inning from Henley&Grange. It's going to be a fun one to recap. 5 runs scored in the inning, but an 8-2 lead. Yep, you're right. 6-run lead, 5 in the inning. Bull hasn't been out in this game yet. Swing and a miss, so a strikeout will end the inning. But 9 come to the plate. 6 score. score. Opportunistic Henley&Grange take a commanding lead just like that. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back with inning number 7.
Oceanic is a family-owned and operated restaurant and event space down at West Beach. We came together always knowing that we wanted to do something with family, and here we are, focusing very heavily on sustainable and fresh produce, and we're very proud of that.
Our point of difference is genuine hospitality and passion for what we do. We truly love and believe in what we do and enjoy delivering fantastic service to our customers. And we recently were awarded with 2 awards, Best Breakfast Restaurant in Adelaide and Best Contemporary Informal Dining in Adelaide, which we're thrilled to receive.
We pride ourselves on giving people an experience from the moment they walk in the door. We're a family business and everybody that comes through the door is entering our family.
Be sure to check our website www.oceanic.com.au for our new opening hours and to make bookings in regards to the restaurant and functions.
All afternoon and all evening, this has been a tight one-run game, not much between them, and the action has exploded. It was a 1-0 lead entering the 5th inning, and in the bottom of the 5th, Henley&Grange scored 2 runs using some smart base running. They were aggressive on the base paths, 3-0. Then, bases loaded and nobody out in the middle of the lineup up for West Torrens. They scored 2 runs, but they can't score any more after that. In fact, they had scored 2 runs and it was still bases loaded and nobody out in a 3-2 game. And then Jordy Gross turns it on, gets them out of the jam, 3-2. Then 3-2, 2 outs, 1 runner on, and Henley&Grange somehow string together hits, including a double from Landon Hernandez, but before that, a hit from Jack Partington. Giovanni Garbella puts a ball in play. Yanazawa reaches on an error. 5 runs cross the plate. It's a 6-run ball game, and the strategy has to shift once again.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, in this situation, Jordy's got 10 pitches left, so they're going to let him go out there for that. And I think offensively for West Torrens, and whether they win or go down in this game tonight, what's going to be big is that they get into that bullpen, and that's going to be their success throughout the rest of the game, and I think throughout the rest of the series is what they can do from this point on to finish out this ball game.
Well, this game isn't over yet, and now we'll get to the schools of thought for what Russell Hart would be thinking right now as Nick George comes up to bat. So Jordy Gross has 10 pitches left. He's going to use these 10 pitches. Then you go to the bullpen. Now, if you're up 6 runs, I would assume Jordy Hodges in an ideal world is your Game 3 starter, but he's probably your highest leverage arm you have remaining. So, do you use Jordy Hodges just to preserve the lead and get to a Game 3, or do you risk it and maybe use another arm? Maybe you give up a run or 2, but you at least have somebody for tomorrow to win the series. This is where the immediate future and the bit of a distant future comes into play as a manager.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, whoever you bring in this next situation has got to be somebody that's going to throw strikes, because you don't want to give any free bases. And it's easy to look ahead and try to plan for that, but at the same time, the game's not over yet. You got the top part of the lineup here for West Torrens, and you still got 9 outs to play with. So whoever they go with, they just got to make sure they come out with this victory.
And West Torrens have left the bases loaded 4 times, and yes, they haven't been as opportunistic as they like, but what I read from that is that consistently they're creating big scoring opportunities. They haven't landed a punch yet, but you figure another chance is coming, and you might be silly to bet against them if they get that situation again.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
One key thing, though, is Sam McGarry is out of the game. They took a gamble, and they took him out for a base runner in Shane Allen, and now Sam McGarry out for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's a big out in the middle of the lineup, because that also dictates how you throw to Tom McGarry in those situations, because having a guy like Sam behind Tom, obviously Tom's going to get a little bit better pitching.
A base hit to start it off for Nick George. So West Torrens trying to get a rally going here.
And that's a huge at-bat. You just cut his pitches in half right there, and you got a table setter, and, you know, just pacing a couple runs each inning. That's what West Torrens is trying to do. And, you know, same thing with Jordy. I mean, he's got a couple pitches left, so he's just trying to maximize this. And look, he can still come out of this in one, 2, or 3 pitches where he's able to get a double play. So, you know, both sides here trying to capitalize on their opportunities.
I wonder if the guy is going to be Jack Partington that comes in to pitch.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, you got Pardo, you got Hodges, Gio's throwing a little bit, Koki's throwing a little bit, so they do have options down there. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go.
There's a lot going on in this game. I'm really looking forward to how Robert Laidlaw reduces this in his recap.
It's interesting because just a really important hit when Garabella hit it to third base and 2 runs scored. They've given that a safe hit.
Yeah, it was a tough play. Yeah.
It was. But, I mean, that sort of changes the complexion. Otherwise, they'd be unearned runs. But because it's a safe hit, they're earned runs. So it just changes the sort of complexity of the game because it is a hit because it was almost too hot to handle.
That one knocked away, and now how's Nick George was making a play at third. He's got to slide back to 2, and he's safe. He likes to live life on the edge, Nick George, and he was living on the edge here.
Too fast. That's a little risky. As a manager, you're holding your breath right there. But look, he plays the game in 1 speed, and yeah, just barely got back in there on the nick of time.
Well, now Jacob Scott has a runner in scoring position, and don't forget they still have 9 outs to work with, and this game is not over by any stretch of the imagination.
Nope, and this is coming up on Jordy's last pitch, so next batter is going to have to be a reliever for Henley.
Scott swings through it, brings the count up full. A fine start for Jordy Gross. It could have been a lot worse in the 6th inning, but it was his attack that got them out of the jam. What can Jacob Scott do here? Swing and a miss. It'll be a strikeout. I think that will end Gross's day. What's his pitch count up to now? Robert, do you know that? 7 strikeouts on the day?
I'll just have a check.
I can get it up as well. I'm going to do it here. He might have one. Oh, they're asking the question. Gross at 122 right now. So he's got 3 more pitches to use. So this will be his last. Almost surely. And they're going to intentionally walk Tom McGarry. And you know what, Gally, you made the point right at the beginning of the inning that having Sam McGarry out of the game changes how you attack Tom. Tom McGarry has not got out since the first plate appearance he had of the series. He's now had 4 walks in this game, by the way, which is just ridiculous. But now they can try to get the double play ball.
He's had 8 strikeouts, Jordy.
What a performance.
Yeah.
Talk about a quality start. He's given it his all.
Now, if he can get the batter out for 1 or 2 pitches, he can go another batter.
So Shane Allen out of the game now. It's Reese Launder that comes in for the pinch hit. And I don't think, do you think they'd be intentionally walking Tom McGarry if Sam McGarry was coming up to bat right now?
I don't think so. I don't think you're putting any extra runs on base, but with Jordy throwing the way that he is, you'd way rather face somebody other than one of the McGarry boys. And yeah,
he had him. He had him.
I think it was more just the shortstop wasn't quite in position on that move. Well, runner on first and second, 1 out. Reese Launder up to bat. They're looking for the double play ball. Fouled back once again. And again, the story here is base runners for West Torrens. At some point, they have to capitalize off this.
So this is definitely his last batter.
This is his last batter. And the intentional base on balls would have been also strategic, knowing that it's also situation, knowing that there's only 3 pitches left for Gross, and you got to pitch to somebody. You'd rather him face, well, Launder rather than Tom McGarry, who's the RBI leader of the West Torrens Eagles. And now it's a strikeout, and that will be the day for Jordy Gross. 9 strikeouts on the afternoon. He scatters only a few hits. In fact, just 4 hits on the day and just 1 earned run. 5 walks, that's the only blemish to his start, but I think when he was pushed down, bases loaded in the first, bases loaded in the 5th, he got out of the jam by his own merit, Jordy Gross.
Yeah, he did, and the thing was, he gave up a walk to score a run in a a great at-bat between a veteran hitter and then an 0-2 blooper. But outside of that, I mean, he really didn't give in. And I think those walks, you know, yeah, he got around some guys, but he didn't give up any big hits that allowed him to beat him. And that was the key to the success, is he kept him in a position where to go as deep as he did in that ball game and to get 2 outs right there is crucial.
And just as I kind of suspected at the beginning, it's going to be Jack Partington that gets the ball. Jordy Hodges is going to come into the game as well, and he'll probably go to second base and send Giovanni Garbella out towards center field. So it'll be Garbella at center. Jordy Hodges will come in at second, and in for Jordy Gross at the mound is Jack Partington, who put together a very nice season on the mound in his appearances in Jack Partington. Partington pitching numbers this year, I'll get you those in just a minute. But do you like this call for Partington, knowing that Hodges, if they can have it line up their way, he could be the starter tomorrow?
I do. It's smart. He had a couple innings last night, and to come back out, it saves your depth that you have as a pitching staff for a Game 3 scenario, and I do like this move.
And he's been used in this role right through the final series by Henley. He's come in to finish most of the game, so he's eating up innings.
He's pitched 16 innings this season, and he's only allowed 3 runs, so a 1.68 ERA with a .93 whip for Jack Partington. And you want a guy that throws strikes. Yeah, he doesn't have probably the same pitch variation as other actual pitchers that call themselves full-time pitchers, but he does come in and he throws strikes.
And he's a heck of a competitor. Pardo, the only thing that he cares about when he steps on the baseball field is winning. And there's nobody else you'd rather have on the mound is somebody that cares about winning as much as somebody like Pardo. And I know he'll do whatever it takes to try to finish this game out for Henley.
So Jack Partington, who has been a spark plug, he's got a couple key runs, the triple, he's got some RBIs. Liam Bull's made some great plays. It's going to be tough to pick a player of the game from the Henley&Grange standpoint right now. Here's Tyrone Hambley up to bat. The big lead over at second base from Nick George. Hambley really needs to come through with a 2-out knock here versus Partington. Turns on one, and that goes foul. West Torrens still creating opportunities for themselves, but those opportunities will become less and less as time ticks on.
Yep, only 7 outs to play with now, so time's cutting in. So it's time to, they got to push at least 1 across here this inning.
Check swing, it's a 2-1 count.
Well, I remember last season against Goodwood in the qualifying final earlier, West Torrens scored like 10 runs in the 8th innings to change the momentum of that game, so they're capable. And it's after when the relief pitchers come on where West Torrens seem to really feed on that. So it's not over till it's over.
Yeah, you feel like there's another twist coming somewhere down the line here. It's what this game has been. It says 8-2 on the scoreline, but it doesn't really indicate how close this has been. Fouled away, staying alive, Tyrone Hambley.
He did this last time, didn't he? He ended up with a walk with loaded bases, but he just hangs tough, doesn't he? He knows the strike zone.
It was bases loaded and no outs, and they scored only 2 runs. It was bases loaded, 2 runs on the board, and still no outs. Swing and miss, Partington with a big strikeout, a big strut from Pardo, and he keeps West Torrens at 2.
Wow, that was a nasty changeup right there. That came out at his letters and dropped down to his knees. That was a heck of a strikeout pitch, and that was huge. Him coming in, sitting down Bones, that was big time for them.
We're at stretch time, and if you've just joined the game, it was so tight, a 1-0 game heading to the bottom of the 5th. Neither team's getting that many opportunities. A Liam Bull RBI in the first put Henley&Grange up 1-0 until some excellent base running from Jack Partington in particular and Giovanni Garbella to score 2 runs. One came on a trap play to make it 3-0 at the time, and we thought, wow, that 3 runs might be all they need, but not so fast. Bases loaded, no outs. West Torrens bring 8 batters to the plate in the 6th, but they only score 2. And then it looked like they were out of the inning. A near miss between the Vanderlindens to tag out Jet Clohessy. They could have been out of the inning. They weren't. The inning kept on going, and with 2 outs, some clutch hits from a string of players, including Yanazawa, Partington, Garbella, and Hernandez, plates 5 runs. And now you just saw Jack Partington get him out. It's 8-2, heading to the bottom of the 7th. And now it's a pitching change for West Torrens. It's going to be Ryan Broom, and he's going to be the guy that will just try to keep them in it at the 6-run lead, but they're not going to burn who they would use as a starter tomorrow.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, Broom's job right here is to get ahead and try to give them some good quality innings right here. And, you know, luckily for him, he's got 6 through 9 coming up in the order, and you know, just needs to throw strikes and let his fielders and try to get back in there for their offense to come up and hit.
So would Broom's job be, look, on paper right now, if the score holds, you've got 6 outs to get through. Get through those 6 outs, hold Henley to no more runs, and just try to see if this Eagles offense can get a bit of a spark from there, but probably ride them to the end.
Yeah, that's it. And, you know, for West Torrens, they got the bottom half of their lineup coming up the next inning as well. So it's key for the rest of this game and for the rest of the series that the bullpen and the success of the bullpen is what's going to dictate these next couple of innings.
You know, West Torrens, they've only got 2 runs, but think that. First innings, they had 4 base runs, they had 2 by pitch balls, they had a walk, they had a hit, they had a caught stealing, but they didn't score a run. And then you look in the 6th innings, the first 5 batters reached base, but they only got 2 runs.
They've got a lot of base runners, but they've left a lot on base. They left 10 on base last night. Try to get what it is at the moment. We'll pull up game changer, all the stats scored there by the Baseball SA scoring position. No, it doesn't quite list it, I don't think, until the end of the game. We got to go through the old-fashioned way. So how many are you saying we're up to, Robert, of left on base? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 runners left on base. And we're only in the 7th inning right now. 19 runners left on base in 2 games for West Torrens, which frankly is just too many.
Yeah, that's too many. And the other stat being Henley having 13 hits in this game too. It's you know, their offense has shined bright today, and you know that's why they're up by quite a bit of runs now.
Ryan Broom deals the pitch to Griff Weber. 2 former teammates over at West Torrens Baseball Club before Griff made the move over to Henley&Grange. He was waiting for that opportunity to be the everyday starter, and Basnoy moved up to the Northern Territory, and Griff Weber has the opportunity to be the everyday guy behind the dish for Henley&Grange.
Yeah, and he's done a great job this year behind the dish, and you know, containing that pitching staff and doing what he's done offensively and defensively. He's a great presence back there.
He's been behind a few pretty big-name catchers in the South Australian League. There's probably been a few opportunities for Griff Weber as this pitch is dealt to go to a club that maybe is lower on the ladder but desperately needed a catcher. But he hung tough at West Torrens for a bit, and then also now at Henley&Grange for the last few seasons. And now he's got that opportunity. And Weber ripping a couple balls in there. Not as hard throwing Ryan Broom on the mound.
Nah, but he throws strikes, and that's the thing. He keeps you off balance. He's got that curveball, and you know, he's got a little cut to his fastball, and yeah, he pounds the zone. So that's the thing about West Torrens' pitching staff is they don't really give too many free bases. You got to earn them off them.
And that hit Griff Weber, so a leadoff runner aboard again. And Jet Clohessy, who's 3 for 3 with hits on all parts of the field, will not come up to bat because he's out of the game because Jordy Hodges has come and replaced him.
Yeah, in this situation, you're trying to put your best defense out there, and yeah, we'll see what Jordy's got here.
Well, I think it's because, they came in for the designated hitter. Clohessy was the DH, and Hodges came in, but because Partington moved from center field to pitch, now the pitcher will hit for himself for the rest of the game for Henley&Grange.
We've also got Oscar Weber behind the plate now, too.
So Oscar coming in for, is Tom McGarry moved somewhere else in the field? That's second base.
I think he might be
he's out of the game. So the two best batters statistically in the lineup in the McGarrys have been substituted out of the game, and getting OJ into the game for some time. So he was just catching, and his brother was standing right next to him. His father is standing around the base pass as well. All kinds of Webbers in the action here. So I think it's safe to say that Tyrone Hambley is thinking about tomorrow.
Yeah, he is. He is.
You'll have a few pitchers to use if there is tomorrow. He has guys like Nathan Vanderlinden, guys like James Snellgrove, guys like Jared Large, guys like Mitch Neuenborn. Potentially Ryan Broom, depending how many pitches he gets through today. If he doesn't go through 60, there's potentially 4 or 5 guys that you should be able to cobble together 9 innings.
Yeah, you're right. And that's another dynamic that you have in there, too, is obviously giving Tom a little bit of a rest, but catching 3 games in a row in a best-of-3 series is also a tough thing to do, too, body-wise, and being able to back that up.
This one's skied up in the air. Caught by Hambley, 1 down. If you're looking at tomorrow for guys that could pitch for Henley&Grange, well, Jordy Hodges is probably the first name that comes to mind, but there's been a few different players that have pitched this season. Koki Yanazawa can eat a couple of innings, but you only know that Hernandez and Gross won't be used. Partington could potentially be used. Depends how he goes the rest of this game.
Yeah, and that stretch that was in January, we had a couple games. Gio threw in those games as well. So they've got a combination of guys that can get the ball over. But like we said today, it's gonna all depend on how whoever's starting pitchers tomorrow are going to go.
If there is a tomorrow, Garbella is almost a lock to be pitching at some point in that game. West Torrens had the first lap of the day, though, in the Division II Grand Final. They pipped Henley&Grange. They're trying to win the double. West Torrens have done that before. Runner is going. It's a hit and run. This one flared foul. Travaskis knocks it away. So a few options. We'll see how it plays out. It could be a big day of doubleheader. We got the Grand Final of women's, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, that'll be an exciting game. Southern Districts looked really good last week. Ellie Tucker had a good start, and yeah, they look pretty commanding, but Woodville's been playing unbelievable baseball this whole year.
Woodville just star-studded, and they are firing on all cylinders. Donna Borsveen, having her healthy and active for the full season has made a massive difference. She's already won a Best and Fairest before, and she was 1 point off this year. Teammate Carly Allen just got her in the end. It'll be an intriguing game to watch, and a lot of those women are fighting for potential spots in the lineup at the national championships coming up. This flared over towards right field. Should be playable. It is. 2 down.
Yeah, good pitch right there. But yeah, you're right. Same thing with Southern Districts. I mean, Sarah Short's got a healthy year coming back, so that'll be a good matchup tomorrow. And yeah, 10 a.m. start. So
as the coach of that team, are you watching that with intent to see how these players play in big games, knowing that you're going to be managing them in some big games in just a couple weeks' time?
Yeah. I mean, when you play in a grand final, I mean, you can see what everybody's made of, and you know, big players step up in big moments, and it's always fun to see two clubs like that and a lot of state players representing in that game.
So are you looking for production? Are you looking for body language? Or are you looking for how they, like, what are you looking for in some of these players if you're making some little decisions about how you might craft maybe a lineup going forward?
Yeah, I mean, look, in a one-game situation, you don't expect anybody to go 3 for 3 or whatever it is. It's
unless
all
you're
about
Jet Clohessy.
Yeah, exactly. You expect it's how you handle the moment and how you handle the pressure, and
Ripped over towards second base and bobbled by Vanderland, and he makes the play. They'll get out of the inning. We'll chat a little more on the other side. Henley with an 8-2 lead as we head to the 8th. You're watching the Division I Grand Final Game 2. Henley trying to close it out and force a Game 3.
I'm Jez and this is Mark from Peak 24. If you're looking to get fitter, stronger, healthier, give us a call and come see us at
149 Marion Road, Richmond, or you can see us on Facebook, Instagram, and we'll get back to you real soon, or via our website, peak24.com.au. Hope to see you soon.
Back at the ballpark, an 8-2 lead for the Henley&Grange Rams. West Torrens trying to get a rally, but Gally, we just talked about it before the break. The women's grand final tomorrow, 10 a.m. It's going to be live streamed. We've got Tamara Harkin on the call. You know her. Alex Meldrum on the call. They're going to be bringing you the action, but a lot of players on that state team that are going away over Easter weekend in the national championships. Probably the majority of the team, not all of the team, but the majority of the team playing in that game tomorrow against each other. It's going to be an intriguing one to watch from a coaching standpoint, but also from a team standpoint, because a competition dominated by Glenelg for a few years in a row. Glenelg's not going to win because they're not playing in the game tomorrow. It's going to be Souths or Woodville.
Yeah, it's been Glenelg and Sturt the past couple years, and grand final without them is good to see for women's baseball. And there's been a lot of really good up and coming young talent that's definitely shined this year.
Well, I'm looking forward to watching that game as a bit of a spectator. I'll grab a beer, maybe a bacon and egg roll, and watch what could be a good game. Second pitch swing over to right field, diving on to make the play, Phil Acosta.
What a play. Pardo came in there, just threw strikes, and, Philly coming in, making a diving catch right there is, the aggressiveness right there in the lead allows him to go do that, and that's a big-time play. Cutting the outs down right now.
In the grand final, they're the plays you have to make. That's why I questioned the one that went to left field earlier. I mean, you kind of have to make those plays.
I guess it's one of those things that ball gets passed and rattles against the wall. All of a sudden, a runner in scoring position, Neuenborn gets a hit, and then all of a sudden, one run scores. This game was a one-run game and so close until just a few key moments, and Henley&Grange were able to pile it on in that pivotal 6th inning. You're absolutely right. You just never know where that rally comes from.
He takes that catch, the one I'm talking about in the 6th inning, they're not going to score 5 runs.
It also preserves pitches for Jack Partington, and you figure that he pitched 21 on Friday. I mean, he could be available. I know pitching 3 days in a row probably isn't ideal, but Pardo would do it. This is his last game of his season. He's not playing baseball for another little bit of time, Jack Partington. Why not use his arm and throw it off? He would tell you to throw it off himself.
Yeah, that's it, man. He just wants to win.
Do you remember 2018 with Goodwood when they lost the first game and came back to win it? The first team, only team to do it since 2004, but Matty Watkins pitched in all 3 games.
Yeah, it'll be done, and it will be done again. Nate Vanderlinden's done it before. And he'll come up to bat right now. There is another runner on, though. 9 runners left on base in this game. Can Vanderlinden try to get one home? There is still time, but right now, there's more runs to chase than outs left on the board. But we've seen some crazy things in this game of baseball. Earlier today, it was a 9-1 lead with 2 outs and nobody on for for West Torrens leading Henley&Grange, and then all of a sudden it was 9-6 just like that on a 2-out rally. Swing and a miss. Partington gets him to swing through.
Good changeup right there. That was a good pitch. Lots of movement on that.
Knocked over towards left field, and a good diving effort from Yanazawa, and here come West Torrens again.
A lot of two-strike hits. Way to string the line across. That's what they needed. They got to try to chip away at this lead, but never over till it's over.
5 base runners in the 6th, 2 base runners in the 7th, another 2 base runners here in the 8th. Oh my goodness. They keep coming at you.
They do. They do. They never quit.
Well, this is where it gets interesting. If Jasper Clark can get a base hitter, find himself on base with 1 out, maybe a run scores or maybe it's bases loaded, and the top of the lineup coming up, that's where things maybe get nervy a little bit again.
Yeah, you do, but now you take into consideration that your 3-4 hole are now out of the game for West Torrens, so they got to try to get those positions up and try to get those guys on base as well.
A 2-0 count here. Partington will deliver to Clark. Partington with a big job here, trying to get those last few outs of this game, trying to preserve some pitchers for tomorrow from a Henley&Grange perspective too. You don't want to use Hodges. You don't want to use Garbella in the game today from an Henley&Grange point of view.
No, I know, and it's 3-1 count right now, so if he reaches on here with a walk, makes things a little dicey.
Jasper doesn't love it, but it's going to be a full count. Big pitch from Partington. Stays alive. Working the count pretty well here, though.
Battling with 2 strikes.
Well, for the 5th inning of this championship series, West Torrens have loaded the bases.
They get them on, they just got to get them in now. So, top of the lineup coming up. Got to chip away at this lead.
This is unbelievable.
You got to try to cut this lead in half somehow if you're West Torrens.
Is that the goal right here? I mean, obviously you want as many as possible, but is it a success if you go to the 9th inning and all of a sudden it's 8-5 instead of 8-2 and maybe some doubt in the mind of the opposition?
Yeah, three runs is what you got to try to get it to here. That's big. Anything bigger than that, then you're trying to start a big rally. But a couple base runners and a blast is, you put yourself in that position, and that's why, as a closer, you come in holding a 3-run lead. That's considered a save. So West Torrens is looking for that right here. They got to score a couple.
And now a tricky 2-0 count. What kind of conversations would be happening in the dugout right now as Landon Hernandez is taking the time for a conversation? So walk me through, if you were Landon Hernandez in this situation, what's he seeing right here? Is he just saying calm, just trying to slow down the game a bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think during the regular season you're asking him what's for dinner, trying to calm him down, taking his head out of it just to loosen up a little bit. But it's more or less just relaxing, telling him the situation of the game, and know that the only way that they're going to, let West Torrens back in this game is if you give him free bases and fall him behind. So he's just trying to get his focus back and knowing that as an offense, you got to take all the way right here. Allow him to get back in the zone, get him some more pitches, and you're trying to work for that walk, and any way on for West Torrens possible is what they're trying to do.
Team down 6 run, but bases loaded and a rally trying to form. What kind of conversations are happening in the dugout right now if you're on the West Torrens side?
Oh, I mean, it's just stay relaxed. You got the runners on. It's just let it happen. They've been in this position before, and another 3-1 count. So I wouldn't be surprised if George is taking another pitch here. But look, these guys battle. They're used to playing. They're used to playing down, and that's the thing. I don't think they get too up if they're up or down. So, and there's a free run.
Wow. So it's an 8-3 game. The base is still loaded. 1 out. Jacob Scott will come to the plate.
And there's nobody in the bullpen. Nobody in the bullpen right now for Henley, so you'd expect that if it's somebody that's going to come in from the field,
Hodges,
it's either going to be...
Or Garbella.
Yeah. Well, actually, all of their pitchers are out there now, so somebody would.
Well, it's interesting here because Hambly took out his 2 leading batters in both of the McGarrys. Now, Sam was a strategic one at the time for a base runner in a very tight game where it looked like runs were at a premium. Tom's an interesting one.
Yeah, because if Scotty gets on right here,
it would be Tom
you're
McGarry.
A slam away. You're a slam away from tying this game.
With the leading home run hitter on your team, 12 home runs on deck. That could be a decision that, well, let's just see how this plays out. But Jack Partington racing ahead 0-2 here.
Yep, that's a big response from him, and he's just got to throw strikes, let the defense work.
Swing and a miss, a 3-pitch strikeout from Jack Partington, and that is huge.
That is huge. That is huge. Gets ahead with a fastball and a breaking ball, and then gets him to expand with another fastball away. So, yeah, and here's Tom McGarry's spot in the lineup right here.
Wow. It'll be Oscar Weber. His brother Griffin is catching right next to him.
What a moment.
They call him OJ. Oscar has come up the ranks. He's played in state teams and charter teams. Now he's got an opportunity. A base hit can bring his team within striking distance.
Imagine being Burke right now.
That's a tough. Burke and Viv are just sitting there like, ah! Swing and a miss! For the 5th time of the series, West Torrens leave the bases loaded.
That was huge to get out of that. Pardo was, struggling to find the zone a little bit, but look, that little conversation that Landon had got him right back on pace, and that's the veteran experience to settle a guy down, and they got 3 more outs to go.
He just landed 6 straight strikes. It was bases loaded, 1 out, and Scott and Weber up to plate in 6 pitches, 6 strikes, 2 outs, and it's still a 5-run lead. And man, West Torrens in this game alone, 3 times they've left the bases loaded.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. And mentally, that's something that, in a regular season, you obviously think about it, but in this series, you gotta take it, 1 inning at a time, and just make sure that you stay confident and keep getting those opportunities and keep loading the bases up.
21 runners left on base in 2 games so far. On the positive, they're getting a lot of runners on. My goodness, this is, I'm sure it'd be frustrating. Just in the last 6 innings alone, it's 8 left on base in the last 3 innings alone.
Getting the opportunities, it's just a matter of cashing them in, so.
Well, Ryan Broom is in here. He's going to try to hold Henley again, and then West Torrens will have 1 more crack at it. And if they can't succeed, well, we're going to come back here tomorrow for a juicy doubleheader of deciding games to decide who's going to be the champion of both the Division I and Division II, or Division I men's and Division I women's. One last day of baseball in South Australia. The 2 top leagues get to go head-to-head. There's some junior games going on around the state as well. You wouldn't want it any other way.
Oh, they're putting one down at Gawler in the under-17s.
Oh, Gawler Rangers. That's where you're going to be, Rob?
Yep.
And then you're going to come down here after?
For game 3? You bet.
There has to be, yeah.
Yep.
You can get the stream up of the women's game that you can keep everybody updated on. Gawler won the first women's championship, don't forget, when it was the first club championship.
Are you telling me not to forget?
Yeah, did you know that Gawler, did you know that, Robert Layla, that Gawler won the first club-based?
And they won the medal as well.
Do you remember that?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I remember that too. I was here as well.
I think I was the president of the club at that time.
I'm excited for that game tomorrow. I haven't missed a women's grand final yet. It won't start tomorrow either. couple warriors in that game as Yanazawa takes a walk. I know Ellie Tucker will, in all likelihood, start that game. Or it could be Sarah Short.
Ellie's been starting, and they've been having Shorty come in relief to finish the ball game. But yeah, it'll be two good matchups. And as far as state-wise, you got Darna and Shorty going up against each other, which are 1-2 for our state team. So yeah, it'd be a really good matchup.
And Ellie Tucker is such a warrior on the mound too. She almost won the Best and Fairest this year. Here's the throw across the diamond. It was a good throw. That ball slips away, and it's in the outfield, and Yanazawa's on third.
That was a really good throw. I think the slide just took the ball out of the shortstop's hands right there.
It's a little bit like that play at first base.
It's a nice throw from Oscar Weber.
That was. One hop right on the bag, just tough one to handle.
A quick transition as well.
Now there's a major difference with both Tom and
are they seeing
Sam out?
Yeah, they're just checking.
With the McGarry brothers out, so that would have been Tom over the sand. You probably got the out.
Yeah, I think they were checking second base to see if he didn't touch the bag on the steal and went to third.
I don't know if we have a replay that goes that far back, but it would be hard to believe he didn't touch the bag. He slid into it. I don't know if on the slide he didn't quite hit the bag. Ooh. Partington aboard, and Garbella will come up with a couple base runners on. And Giovanni Garbella last night, 1 for 2, 2 walks and an RBI. Tonight, he is...
Oh, that was close.
Let's see that again. Well, that's Partington. Let's see that replay before. I missed it. I was looking at it.
Looked like the glove might have blocked it, but couldn't pick that up right away.
Yeah, he touched it. But the umpire's already called him safe.
You know what? That's a heads-up play from Nate Vanderlinden, who'd be the only one in that situation that said, hey, you know what? I think he just hit my glove. He might not be out here.
And that's why they replay in the big leagues. That's tough. That's a tough call to see full time.
Garbella tonight, 2 for 2 with 2 walks. On the series, he's 3 for 4 with 4 walks and 3 RBIs.
Can you tell me how many batters have been hit by pitch balls yesterday and today?
Too many. Too many? Can you tell me?
I'm thinking close to 10.
Yeah,
There's been a lot.
Garbella fouls this one back. Partington now standing on 2. You can hear the Geo chants coming from what the Burrito Bowl is here in the ABL season. Pitch on the outside. Be interesting to see what strategy West Torrens deploy with their pitchers tomorrow. Probably a couple innings each. Full count. What's Garbella sitting on here? Fastball.
It'll be in the strike zone.
It'd be interesting to see what he goes with here.
No, he's missed.
Well, now it's bases loaded for Landon Hernandez, who's got an RBI. He's had a nice night too, 2 for 4. He was 2 for 4 last night.
He's a big game player, Landon. He hasn't had the best batting season this year, but he's really shown in the finals, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah. Oh, he always shows up in the big games.
Henley&Grange had only lost back-to-back games once this season, and it came in their final 2 of the year in games that, when it came to the standings, really didn't mean much, but Russell Hart used a few different players in a few different positions, knowing that in the finals, when you're playing 3 games in 3 days, you have to move things around. So, yeah, he took the L's. They didn't really matter in the end of it, but just getting them in the situation. So when he's attacking a game full strength, the Rams haven't lost back-to-back yet this season.
Yeah, and it's important to get prepared for finals and get guys work in where you need and, you know, see where they're at in certain positions of the game.
You look at the last month of the season, and of course West Torrens played really well to get themselves in position for the to have.
Hernandez to right field. Moving back is Allen. It's at the wall. It's off the top of the wall. One run is scored. Garbella getting the hard wave around home. There might be a play at the plate. There won't be. It's a bases clearing double.
Wow. Other than Newborn's home run the other way, we haven't really seen too much power, and that ball was absolutely driven the other way. That was a great piece of hitting by Landon. Knowing that he's not really going to get beat with the fastball and stays on and has a good approach to the opposite field, and a couple feet away from a grand slam.
3 hits and 4 ribbies for Landon Hernandez in this game. It now pushes the score out to 11-3, and if you want a difference, if you want a play that summarizes this game, well, West Torrens have left the bases loaded 3 times. They've left 12 runners on base throughout. Bases loaded, Hernandez at the plate, he clears them all with one swing of the bat.
Now, Austin, you reckon he missed by a couple of feet? I reckon he missed by a couple of inches.
Yeah, it was pretty close. That was pretty close. That ball almost went through the wall.
Well, it's 11-3. A swing of the bat from Liam Bull. A home run ends it. It would be the mercy rule, 10 runs after 7. We are in the 8th inning, of course. And Liam Bull, jam shot moving under is Vanderlyn, an easy play. That's the first out of the inning.
So it's 11-3. I mean, who would have expected this?
Especially not after the first 5 innings. Like, it was such a... Wow, that was crushed from Landon Hernandez.
Right in the middle. That's a big part of the field to go as well.
Landon's had a good day today. Griff Weber up to bat. Who do you pick for a player of the game from Henley and Grange? You can probably make a case for a few of them.
Well, Landon's probably sealed it with that.
Well, let's go through it in just a second here, fellas.
I mean, if I'm going player of the game, I'm going Jordy Gross for sure. You can't, a quality start. He throws 6 2/3.
6 2/3, 1 earned run.
1 earned run, and gets out of a bases loaded jam with nobody out. He's my guy.
And it's a great case in point. But then you also have a fly out here. But you have Liam Bull, who's had a really good game. He has those 2 RBIs and then almost a third when he had that trap play, which in the situation was close. He's also had a couple really nice plays at third base. Landon Hernandez has 3 hits and 4 RBIs. Giovanni Garbella literally has not been out in this game in his 5 plate appearances. He's got a couple hits. He's got 3 walks. He has scored 4 times, Giovanni Garbella, in this game, and he's only been out once in this whole series. How about Jack Partington? He scored 3 times. He's had a double, he's had a single, he's had a hit by pitch. He extended the double into, I don't know if it was a triple and then an error, or a double and an error, or a triple.
Double and an error.
But he's used his legs to score some runs. He's also come in and pitched in relief and got outside of a jam. You can make a good case for Jack Partington.
Well, Landon's also played
Another
well
hit batter.
First base. He's made some good plays there. So, yeah, how about all played well? Now, I understand, Austin, the pitching was magnificent. It really was. But it's runs that were always going to win the game. So you've got to balance it up. Which is more important, scoring runs or stopping runs?
I think in the context in this scenario where you've got bases loaded 3 times and they've got out of the jam, I think it's almost preventing runs because it's 11-3, but it could easily be 11-9, 12-11 right now.
And I think what's really important about pitching out of that jam when he had loaded bases and none out, he struck 2 guys out.
Yeah, correct. And I think for the context of this series, it's, you are going into a best of 3, but the fact that Henley's best players have just played an unbelievable game, and the amount of players that have a good game, the momentum and the positivity that you take in for the Pardos, the Bulls, the Hernandez, all these guys that are having great games, that's going to give them that extra confidence, and that's what makes, Henley going into tomorrow looking really, really good in that game.
Now this flared out towards right field. It's a tricky play. Does it stay fair? It doesn't. It goes foul. And that's a great point, Gally, because, and I mean no disrespect to the other players on Henley and Grange. They're a tough team 1-9. They're the minor premiers for a reason. But if I were to ask probably neutral people and I said, tell me the 5 top players on Henley and Grange, you'd say Jordy Gross, Jack Partington, Giovanni Garbella, Landon Hernandez, and Liam Bull. All of those players have been on Team of the Year. Koki Anazawa, the other one that's on the Team of the Year. And of those players, well, four players who are on the team of the year in the SABL had huge games today.
Your stars are shining.
Stars were shining.
That's it. And what better way to even the series up and then go to a deciding series when all of your stars are feeling good and played a great game to contribute.
Maybe that's your headline, Rob. Stars shine as Rams into... Stars shine.
That's it.
And that's what you want. Like you said, as a coach, as a fan, as a player, you want to see your best players be your best players. Flared up. That's the final out of the inning. So they're chasing 8 runs. There's only 3 to go. This game sort of feels over, to be totally honest. You can see that by the substitutions that are made. It's not, but we'll see what happens.
But this is baseball, and you've got to look at when it was 3-0 up, I was thinking similar. And then when I was watching the Div 2 game in the last innings, West Torrens were 9-1 up and they made it 9-6. This is baseball, mate. Anything can happen.
Hartington will go back out on the mound. It'll be an intriguing one tomorrow. But, yeah, that's a great way of putting it. The Stars that needed to be good were great.
They have. And then you talk about, for West Torrens, and you talk about a Tom McGarry, they didn't let him shine. They
took him out of the game.
They took him out of the game. Well, he had 4 walks. So his bat getting on base, they didn't let a star for West Torrens shine in those situations. And well, you know, in a closer game, you know, probably tomorrow, that's what's going to be the determining factor is those key contributors being able to come in and contribute in those ball games.
Tom McGarry this series, today he is 0 for 0 with 4 walks.
Yeah, he didn't beat him.
He's got 6 walks in 2 games, and he's hit 12 home runs. And you can't help but wonder, going back to that 8th inning when it's 2 outs, bases loaded, and your RBI leader is out of the game.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And that's the thing. Even with a 6-run lead, they intentionally walk him. And in a situation like that, you're putting an extra runner on base, but they didn't score from that. And, you know, they're just not letting, you know, a guy like Tom McGarry beat him.
I think the big strength of the West Torrens team is that they bat 1 to 9 together. And today, the bottom of the lineup going right now, just 2 hits in their combined 16 plate appearances so far today, and that's very uncharacteristic of West Torrens. And this is baseball. This is just one game. I mean, if they have the same opportunities tomorrow, West Torrens, they're going to bang the door down. This is a very good team, but it feels deserving if this does go to a Game 3 that it does get to go to a Game 3.
Yeah, and that's the best part about baseball, and especially finals baseball or playoff baseball, is you do come back tomorrow.
And a quick base hit up the middle, so maybe a rally can start.
That's Jude Barker right there.
Chewbacca getting a hit, making it good to see these players. This is also a great field. This is what West Torrens has done so well as a club over the last 6 years, is they've been able to stay a contender. They've been playing preliminary final baseball at least for the last 6-7 seasons, and they've had a few players that have been constants, your Vanderlindens, your McGarrys, your Hambleys, but you've also had players that have been young and got opportunities. You think about Max Stagg, who was a young player, came in. He's not in the lineup this year. Jacob Scott gets transitioned in the lineup. This is how you transition them. You give your players, you reward them with opportunities in big games, which is what Oscar Weber has got in this game, which is what now Chewbacca just had a hit.
You know, you're watching West Torrens over the last 6-7 years, like you said, they're always a contender.
Up the middle, will they get one? Throw across the diamond, double play.
You look at West Torrens, they're the major contender, but you know, you go back to like 2010 to about 2016, Kensington won like 5 flags in 6 seasons, and you look over the 21st century from 2000 until last season, Goodwood were in something like 10 grand finals, won 5 of them. They missed the finals for the first time since 1999 this season.
Yeah, and it was not by much either. And I mean, they were right in the mix for most of the season.
Yeah, they lost a couple of late games, cost them.
Fly ball to center field, moving back. Garbella makes the play, and that will do it. Henley&Grange, opportunistic, and like you said, Gally, the Stars got to shine.
That was you know, the scoreline at the end doesn't dictate the intensity of this ball game, but you're exactly right. For Henley, now the series is even 1-1, and they've got all their players clicking, but this is baseball. Anything can happen in baseball. And, one thing that I know about West Torrens is they'll learn from this game. That's the thing. They're not going to hang their heads. And this is exactly what the same position they were in last year, and the response that they had on the Sunday was, 10-run win.
So who's going to win tomorrow?
Well, this is what is so interesting and why I love that Division I gets a 3-game series and not just a one-off, because it gets to test the depth and the strength of your club. Tomorrow we're going to get to see pitchers that don't normally pitch in big bulk innings have to be used tomorrow. Now you get to see what the depth of your club is made of. How have you developed your pitchers? How have you developed players playing in positions they don't normally play in? And how do your players perform in the biggest of games? It's the ultimate test on a neutral field in the afternoon tomorrow. I like a Game 3 because you get the decider like that.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, you had the best of the best that were out there on the mound today. And, like exactly what you said, you've got the depth, and this shows the passion and heart that you have in playing as a team and dealing with that. And, I think going into a Game 3, this is going to be one of the most exciting Game 3s that we've had in a long time in the final series.
There could be a different perspective to the game if Mitch Neuenborn starts the game and go 5 or 6 innings. Other than that, it's a toss of the coin.
Yeah, I don't know if he can, though, and I guess that's what we'll find out about how much is Mitch Neuenborn able, allowed, or will pitch on tomorrow. That is the big ace in the sleeve, because we talked about it on the broadcast. I think, and I know I'm biased, but I know other people think it too that aren't from SA, that Mitch Neuenborn is the current best Australian pitcher not named Liam Hendricks.
Yeah, he's been lights out. And I mean, 38% whiff rate in the WBC speaks for itself, and that's why he's been given an opportunity with the Phillies. And, you just like to see, whether it's starting or relief or wherever he comes in at the part of the game, that it's in a crucial situation in the game, and that's what you want to see in baseball.
Well, boys, what do you think? Should we run it back tomorrow?
I'm down.
We'll run it back tomorrow. We'll be back for Game 3, the decider. Don't forget, 10 a.m., get down to West Beach for the Women's Division I Grand Final, and then the Men's Division I Grand Final immediately following. I'm Eric Ballner. Thank you, Austin Gallagher. Thank you, Robert Laidlaw. Thank you, producer Brandon, and the entire Spacequake Sports team. This is us signing off.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Hilltop Office Supplies are here to provide you with all your stationery, sanitary products and office equipment. We are a local business servicing local communities with the ability to offer you and your business the best prices. We offer a large range of office supplies from pens, ink cartridges and toner to monitors, keyboards and laptops. If you can't see it on our website or in our catalogue, ask us and we'll source it for you. We have a partnership with Kaishira Document Solutions, where you will find many leasing options available for these state-of-the-art units and plenty to choose from, whether you have 5 or 5,000 employees. We offer businesses a one-stop shop for all cleaning, kitchen and bathroom needs. Check out our website at www.hilltopofficesupplies.com.au. Register your business to stay on top of the latest sales and receive member specials. We are baseball people here to support the baseball community.